Okay, good evening, YouTube. Looks like we're live, I believe. Everything looks like we're getting across the interwebs. Give me a thumbs down if you can't hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Gonna give a minute for some people to get in here before we get started. I thought Mule Team was working, but it looks like he's playing hooky, dual multitasking, as he's in the side chat already, living large.
Oops.
Yeah, there he is, living large.
What's up, buddy?
He's a guy that never sleeps,
Actually, I'm at work.
right? Yeah, I saw your 3-minute video or whatever you just did.
I grabbed a new gig.
No doubt. Train. I like the message.
Hey, what else can there be at this point? You know what I'm saying, Amos? You know, we can't. What can we do at this point other than train and prepare? Because all our calling of all these people and trying to show that we're, not all of America, 95% of America is a bullshit number, 75% of America is a bullshit number wanting to give up guns. They're not listening. They don't care. They're going to do it anyway.
That's definitely key, is that they're going to do it anyway. We already got some people in the side chat here. Boneyard Militia, Rooster Cogburn, thanks for joining us. I am going to wait for a couple more people to get in the chat before we kick off our main topic. So, how's the weather in your area, Mule?
Oh, it's been beautiful, man. I mean, a little chilly, but, really nice. Beginning of spring type deal, 40 degrees, maybe 30, 25 at night. Sunshine, beautiful. We didn't get none of that snow that everybody was talking about a bit.
Yeah, they were saying it looked like it was going to get a little bit bad.
Yeah, it did. And we were all expecting it. They had called for like 8 inches of snow by my house, and we didn't even get dust. We got nothing.
Huh, right? Yeah, it was overcast here, but it was still like 50 degrees. So it was good that it was overcast. Otherwise, it'd be about 70 probably.
I can live with that.
Nah,
Well, I was just going to say, especially with the new night gig, 70 degrees at night, not a problem.
Oh, well, it's not 70 right now. It's definitely down in the 30s now.
Yeah.
But
I just checked my temp. Yeah, it's 30 here too. So
yeah, we could use a little bit more winter just to get some more moisture. We need the water, but you can feel spring is definitely coming. We got weeds and grass and everything growing.
Well, you know what happens in spring, right? At least historically, it isn't just a planting season, it's also a warring season, right? Wars across the globe. Since the beginning of time, spring was the beginning of gear up for war. Time to train, time to get ready. By the end of spring, we're heading out to battle, right? So,
yeah.
Well, we both know it, right? You've studied history to a point, right? I study history, and that's the way that shit worked, right? Winter, right. Everybody went to their encampments, or they went home. They took care of everything around the homestead. Then come spring, you got to bring your crap, show back up, train a little bit, and then off to, the Peloponnesian War. Here we go,
Peloponnesian War, man, you're going way back. Let's keep it like, Napoleon or something. You're going back before firearms.
Fuck, dude, but you can go back to what, Valley Forge? What did they do? They camped all winter. They, the shock of the shock of the moment, and how, Washington was able to capture all those Hessians. Why? Doing shit in winter. Nobody does stuff in winter. We all sit around, we try and stay warm, we get drunk, we eat, we get fat, we go training in the spring. Captured them. Trenton. Why? Because it was done in winter. No other way they would have done it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
we have the advantage of nice heaters and technology equipment and clothing now. We can train in the winter too, so.
Yeah, but that means for the military, right? I'm talking about for Joe Schmucko, right? You got, we can get all the stuff the military has. We can dress as warm as they do. But reality is nobody wants to be out in winter. You go have a little fun. You're not going to go out training in the snow. Okay, let's be real with most people. But I want to encourage everybody to train because guess what? All these protesters, spring's coming. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to be flooding the streets with protesters trying to get their agenda across. Meanwhile, most people like you and me, what do we do in the spring? We're working twice as hard because it's spring, right?
That's true. That you got twice as much work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got to plant the seeds in the spring so that way you have food at the end, in the fall. It's just the way it works, right? And in people who aren't farmers or anything like that, sunshine's when the, best time to go work. If you're in construction, if you do manual labor, spring, summer, fall is your main time, right? So we're not gonna, nobody's gonna be out protesting. Nobody's gonna be out in fucking, out standing for the Second Amendment when they got to go to work to feed their families. And that's always been our problem is we don't have these unemployed, or people in school that can be paid to go protest because they got nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, and that's why one of the reasons we struggle to sustain a protest effort. I mean, we hit and miss. We can always have a one day or no problem. Especially if it's big enough. Did you see the stuff out of Ohio today?
No, I'm trying to get myself on that 100% third shift schedule, so I kind of, a lot of catch up today with sleep, No,
that's a good plan.
I got a full 6 hours. I was amazed.
Yeah, but when you get a chance, check out some of the video out of Ohio. They had a protest because they did pass that. Was it a confiscation bill? Which somebody from Ohio?
Of course they did. Illinois did too.
Seems like half of the followers I get lately are from Ohio. But I don't see any in the side chat. And we got Jay Watts with us. What's up, Jay Watts? Been a minute. Seems like you've been coming back around lately. I just saw some of the video. I didn't really hear what they were talking about, but they were definitely rallying. Seemed to be a better crowd than the Florida crowd. I saw some of the Florida results, and it was only like a couple hundred. Seemed to be a few more than that.
Well, you know what? Ohio didn't have a fucking shooting this month, or a month ago. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, I mean, look, I've been talking with Kev, Tack Daddy, a little bit, and, seeing the shit that he's going through, in his town right now, he'll be ostracized if he stands up for the Second Amendment, right? Because you got all these fucking kids out there pushing to take away people's guns, So it gets hard. It gets hard when you live in a community and everything you stand for goes against what the community feels right now. They might not feel that next week, but right now they feel it, right? And so standing up right now is hard, And like I was saying last night on Tony's chat, all the shit that's going on, and this is how those socialistic Democrats fucking play, right? Is they work on the emotion of it, and they have to get it done fast. Because if they don't get it done fast, they know that the second the emotion's taken away, reason's going to show back up, and they're not going to get their way.
Yeah, the emotional wave is what they ride, for sure. And we talked about that last week with the original assault weapons ban back in 89 or 90 or whatever. Yeah. And how they rode that one shooting. And it seems like every time there's an event, they always try to push something else. And fortunately, it's just Florida at this point. I mean, one state, hey, you're on your own.
Well, look, Illinois, it's sitting on my governor's desk. I don't know if he's going to sign it, but he's got to rule up to, the legislature came up with a rule to confiscate all semi-autos from fucking 18 to 21-year-olds.
Right. Was it a confiscation or turn-in order?
Turn-in.
It's a turn-in order, which turns into confiscation.
Well, turn-in is real simple. Ain't nobody fucking doing it. Who the fuck's going to go take something they spent their hard-earned money or got given to them from, especially after they've already jumped through the hoops of getting a FOID card here in Illinois, right? And then they're going to turn their shit in, and it happening, right? And the thing that most people don't realize, at least here in Illinois, we get background checked every day. I get 360 background checks a fucking year. I don't have to buy a single thing. I'm just have a FOID card. So every day my shit goes through the system and I get a background check. So all this enhanced background check bullshit and the mental health check, that all goes through my state. They check it all. If I went into a hospital and said, hey, I'm having a bad time, I'm feeling too anxious, I need to see a therapist or whatever, bam, the next day my shit's pulled. Because it's gotten into the fucking system, it goes to the state police, and my fucking FOID card is now in trouble. Right? And that's within a 24-hour period of me doing it. Because they do background checks in my state every day.
Right. And that's
every FOID card person gets their shit run through a list and see if there's any kind of flags. Did you get it? Did you pick up were you arrested? Did you end up in a mental health facility? Blah, blah, blah. The only thing that you don't do is go through a NICS. You only go through NICS when you're actually buying a firearm. Otherwise,
I was saying your FOID card is for firearm owner's identification, right? It's not concealed carry, just so everybody's clear on that.
Right. Yeah, I'll be honest, I carry every day, but I haven't jumped through that hoop, and I sure as fuck not gonna at this point. You know, if I get caught, I'll take the charge and I'll deal with it in court with a fucking lawyer.
Yeah, that's a long road to hoe right there. For sure.
It is a long road to hoe, but look, unless we're going to start shooting fucking people, it's the only alternative we have to all this shit, is to take them to court and fight it. Everything that they're doing is unconstitutional.
Is that what they're going to find, though?
But, I mean, we know it. Look, otherwise you're going to have to, I mean, we have two choices. Well, three, really. You can give all your shit up, you know, and you can keep your single shot shotgun and your you know, musket pistol, you know, good to go. Now you got the Second Amendment behind you there, buddy. Or you can fucking shoot anybody who's going to take it, right? Or the last resort, the first resort is take them to court. The only thing is we got to start doing these as class action suits. Stop with this fucking individual bullshit. Because you know what? The individual may win, but everybody else will still lose.
Yeah, I think most people don't understand how that class action stuff works, because it seems like one of the requirements for a class action is people already have to have been injury is the term they always use. So you have to get people that have already been victims of the issue. So you'd have to get a bunch of 20-year-olds that have been denied firearms, which so far there haven't been a whole lot.
I don't know, man. There's kids in Michigan suing Michigan for pulling that bullshit, and they're suing fucking Dick's and Walmart and all the rest of them. Same with Oregon, right?
Yeah, I saw the Oregon.
There are people already jumping out to start the suits, right? And you're right. You have to have at least 3 to 5 injured parties to be able to start a class action, but that's not going to be that hard.
Yeah.
It's just finding people willing to, because that's the real way you stand up these days. You can go protest, you can talk shit online, but if your name's on a court document in a class action suit, there's real power there, right? It's only slightly less than the power of the firearm itself. And that's the only way we're going to fight this. That's the last way we can fight this, because other than that, it's going to be shooting fucking people.
Well, you got to, I mean, I don't know, how long, how many different ways that can we say it when we've said it? But again, it's got to go back. It always goes back to, you can't do anything alone. That's always an issue. It's like, you got to have a group effort, because a lone wolf's just going to get crushed, you know?
Yeah. Well, shit, even a small group's going to get crushed, right? I mean, all through the 80s and 90s, they were shredding militia groups, right? Infiltrating them, crushing them. What was that one out in, I think, Montana, that they ended up doing the
Freeman? Yeah.
Yeah, the Freeman. You know, those were a bunch of dudes who weren't doing nothing but, you know, but there was just enough to get the attention of the federal government, and knowing that that the feds would win no matter what, right? Because there wasn't a big group of people that were part of the Freeman movement. So them being able to stomp on them and use them as an example, right, which is what took down the survivalist movement and the 80s, 90s version of the militia movement, right? Everybody went to ground for a couple of years because of it. Between the Freeman and Ridge and Waco, everybody went, oh shit, they're knocking heads. Time to duck, time to quiet down, throw your guns in sonotubes, and wait for the pendulum to swing back. We can't do that this time. There's never going to be a fucking grandfather clause in any new assault weapons ban. When they're gone, they're gone. They learned their lesson from that.
That does seem to be the consensus.
So, I don't know what to tell people, man, other than that's it. Train, train, train. Stock up, team up, train up. You can't do it alone. You're not a fucking lone wolf. If you ain't got people, if you ain't diversified and got people to watch your back that don't live in your own home, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I would think that most of us would feel exposed, even with a small number.
Yeah,
a small crew would still be a risky proposition for anything a little less standing up for your rights.
Well, it's got to start small, right? So when anything actually starts happening, it'll then go. Smaller groups will band together to become bigger groups, right? Because you can't get too big too fast, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up being infiltrated, right? You'll catch the attention of the feds. They will send people in and just load you up with everybody they want, and then use for some later date for some example, right?
Right.
So you got to be real careful. And we talked about that thousands of times over on the Dragon.
Yeah, obviously, you got to be careful in something like that, but you can threaten to shoot up a school 39 times or whatever, and you're all right.
Yeah.
And they know about that. They don't care.
Yeah, that can happen. But if you report on the Bundy Ranch situation from the courthouse, you might end up in jail because you're promoting the fucking dissidents or whatever happened to that guy in Vegas that ended up getting locked up.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah.
A couple. That's a whole other problem. Yeah, well, the whole thing is you can't protest the government. You can only protest other people or go after other fellow Americans. They don't care about that.
Yeah. I mean, look at the past 20 years of protest. It's all been against fellow Americans. It's not protesting the big ones, Occupy Wall Street, all against private corporations, right? Across the fucking country, because whoever, paid to spread the message, right? Look at the ones now. All the protests now, it's against guns. They're not protesting the fucking government. They're not protesting Broward County sheriffs.
Right. The ones that deserve it.
Yeah. Who the fuck should these kids at this school be protesting? Broward County sheriffs. Who let you down? It wasn't the fucking firearm. It even wasn't the store that sold the firearm. It was those fucking cops. The very people that they're telling me I need to turn my guns over to and leave them to protect me said, fuck you, I ain't going in there shooting people.
Yeah, that whole situation. And obviously they honed in on a couple students to lead the charge that already had that in their mind. That was already their state of mind, as those are the issues. And they rode them like a horse and are riding them.
Well, actually, you notice that you haven't been seeing a ton of it, right? Yeah, past week, that crisis actor kid that they call whatever the fuck he is, I don't know. He could be a goddamn student. I don't care, right? He's disappeared from the zeitgeist. Why? Because a lot of the shit's being proven false. Things that this kid said, so they've disappeared him. They gave him his 15 minutes of fame and he's done, right? You're not going to hear from this really? David Hart ever. Watch. You haven't seen him on CNN for the past week and a half.
I haven't watched CNN, period. So
Neither do I, but I still have alerts for when this clown comes on because I believe it's false flag. I believe this guy's just maybe not an actor, he could be a student, but there's other issues behind him pushing the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, he was already indoctrinated well beforehand.
Yeah, and they were just using him as a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's a young kid, whatever. He's a teenager who's articulate. So let's push this kid out, And how can you say, everybody who owns an AR is now a baby killer? Fucking gonna fuck you. It's just.
Yeah, you're past arguing. You ain't going to argue the point with them. It's like I said in that first video. It's like it's not even worth discussing almost to a point because the problems have been so long standing that we're not going to solve this problem in this debate right here. So I got nothing to say to you because either you're going to come and get it or you're not,
And is it you? Please let it be you. All those people fucking talking shit. I don't want to shoot a cop. I might want to shoot you, though. Why don't you come fucking knock on my door? Don't put it to some guy who might be a friend of mine.
Right. And that's the big conundrum they want to put everybody in. And that's another looming. I mean, we always the moral dilemma that's going to be put before people. It's coming. We saw Massachusetts already. People didn't turn their stuff in when it came down to 0 hour or whatever. So as these continue with these state issues,
yeah, I mean, you can go down the list. Everyone that's put in one of these fucking gun confiscation schemes or turn your shit in or register your shit, the bulk of the people don't do it.
Right. But you got people running for Congress committing felonies on video, making SBRs.
Yeah.
Oh man, those crack me up.
Yeah, it cracks me up too. You see these because they love to talk about things they know nothing about. Right. So this woman who's running for Congress talks about how everybody in her family owns guns, then went out and bought an AR to cut the fucker up. Because that's all she did. Went out and bought a fucking $400 AR to cut up. She wasn't cutting up some fucking Daniel Defense, Lewis Tool Machine fucking $3,000 gun. Fuck no. They're cutting up fucking $300 fucking, plum crazy fucking plastic receiver ARs,
Something they probably caught on consignment or something. They probably never shot it or nothing.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell people, man. Oh, I do know what to tell you. Stock up,
train up was that's good words. Yeah, that was wise words there.
Well, but that's all we can do at this point. At least guys like you and me. Like we've been talking. I mentioned it last night. We've been talking 9 years, just about 9 years. Me, you, Rebel, the Kansas crew, Tony, a shitload of us. 9 fucking years we've been talking about this shit. Right?
So that's just here. I mean, we've all probably individually in our own personal lives been talking about it for long before that.
My whole life. But I'm just going to mark it on youth on when it's been to the public, right? When we got together as a group and started discussing it from all points of the compass in this country, right? And some overseas. Remember when Dragon was going hot? We were getting fucking people from Germany, Australia, Sweden coming in and talking to us, encouraging us to make sure that America keeps its fucking guns because the rest of the world has had their shit taken away. Yeah. So we've had these discussions many, many times. Hopefully we've awakened a lot of sleeping giants in their own communities, to continue the fight. But talking's done. At least I'm waiting. All I'm doing is stocking up, training up, and teaming up, because talking isn't doing shit. They don't give a shit what we have to say. They don't care.
Yeah, just talk over you otherwise.
Well, look at that guy from West Virginia, right? That or maybe it was Virginia, right? But some guy who's running for Congress stood up in a state house and gave an excellent roaring speech. Ex-Special Forces guy, right?
Yeah, yes, Virginia.
Did they listen? No. What happened was people came out butthurt because he told the truth of history, right? of the Democratic Party was the party of the Klan. The Democratic Party was the party of the Civil War. The Democrats were the ones that succeeded from the United States, right? The Democrats are the ones that implanted Jim Crow laws all throughout the Reformation South, right? So when he points that out, all of a sudden he's a fucking bigot and a racist. When all he did was point out the truth.
Nobody pays attention to history. You know that?
Yeah, I do. Shame. My favorite thing to do, especially with this new gig, right? So I'm listening to like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History all the time. Every night I'm listening to a 6 to 8 hour lecture on history. You know? And it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
You know? But all the learning, it's horrible because all I do is get to see the future. Because I know what's going to happen.
It does seem that we're heading down the same path. Nothing's changed.
No, they just have a longer game plan, right? All of us, and I'm just as bad as anybody else, right? To where these people think in decades, I think in minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, I can think at least 5 years down the road, at least.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. I mean, I just watched something on YouTube, a Janet Reno speech from fucking 20-something years ago, talking about this exact plan, right? Registration, limiting gun use on certain people, and then eventually it all comes to confiscation. Right? Yeah. Now, maybe 2-3 generations down the road, but that's how they fucking think. Where us, we all got ADHD, right? So, you know, comparatively, we have other shit to do. I can't think about, you know, protesting and trying to keep the Second Amendment every day when I got to go out and work and you know, I got to change a diaper and I got to go get dinner and I got to go do this or that or the other thing. Individuals have a way different scope of time compared to, you know, organizations. Organizations can have longer terms because they don't give a shit about an individual.
Yeah, agenda.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That's a good point because, like, we know there's a progressive agenda to lay out. You know, it's Karl Marx and his words, and they have teachings and rules for radicals. They have all these things to go off of. But we have them as well, but we don't learn them.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the Declaration. We have the Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers. We have these things, and nobody takes it and puts it as the core of their belief, you know. They don't prize it.
Nobody big enough does. You know what I mean? People like us do, right? But we have all these organizations that don't. The fucking NRA, they shot themselves in the dick with jumping on the bump stock thing, right?
Right.
They could have actually, right now, they could be a hardcore organization that everybody would back and everybody, you know, I would even join them at this point if it wasn't for that. You know? But they stood against us. And they always have. They constantly try and like rhinos, like the fucking Republican Party. They tell us what we want to hear, but when it comes down to the actual needing for them to back us up, they're nowhere to fucking be found. You know, and they're the rhinos in the NRA and those like them, they're all the biggest fucking compromisers around. You know, if you go reading what the ATF wants to do with bump stocks, it's like they fucking copy and pasted from the fucking NRA.
Pretty sure they sent them the memo to print.
Hey, Tony.
Yo, how's it going?
Welcome, sir. What's all that background noise?
Here's a lady telling me
watching 13 hours with the kids.
Is that the Benghazi story? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the Benghazi one. Pretty good flick. I liked it.
Is that kid friendly?
No, but you know, it's a war movie.
Yeah, it's
kid
friendly.
It is.
It's way more.
There's no sex.
Now.
there's no sex unless you catch off on the side on one of the shots in the with night vision. You see some guy humping a goat, but besides that, it's
Yeah,
kid
there's
friendly.
not. That's the hard thing nowadays to find a movie that don't have no freaking sex scenes in it. There ain't none of that in this movie, so it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It'll kill 2 hours. I mean, will it teach you anything? Absolutely not.
Yes,
If you didn't already know that those people were screwed, and that it was all part of a plan with the Obama, and you know what? It was part of the Obama administration's plan. Libya had been a calm state, right? Libya was the one that was willing to work with the United States until the Obama came in, right? And Clinton, what? That's not my crew. Okay, good.
You still on standby?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess they go out in the side chat. We got quite a crew showing up. Go back a little bit to catch up. We got being overrun here. ZPD Survival's with us. Rooster Cogburn, M Long 5151. Walter Davis, Rusty Faith. Thanks for joining us, everybody, gentlemen. Stan Ulch, the Mad Canadian's with us. Jay Sparks, good evening. 01 Crom. Don't Tread. Thanks for coming out. Good comment. People that do turn in their guns, good for them. They are the folks that should not have them in the first place. True that. Wild Iron Horseman's out there. Wild Iron, I sent you a link. Joseph Russell, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Stefan Minkenberg, thanks for joining us. Oh, that's one of the gentlemen from last night. I recognize that name. TrueBlitz.com. That's a new one. We got commercial industry joining us, it looks like. Land Run 89. Partisan Gorilla, PG. Saw him in Rich's chat earlier. And I think that might catch us up. Maybe just possibly. Man, they are laying it down out there. I can't keep up. Saints and Sappers. About time you showed up, Saints. I got to drop you a link here in a second.
What are they saying out there?
Oh, man, they're tearing it up. Pair up, train up, militia. Militias are everywhere, which is debatable. But different things. It's going fast and furious. I mean, there's got to be 100 comments in there already. I can't keep up.
The nice thing is
G Mango's joined us too. Hey G, caught your chat earlier. I know you just ended a short time ago.
The nice thing though, the one thing YouTube's done that I appreciate is the fact that now you're going to be able to reread the live chat when you're watching it later.
Right, the side chat rolls by as it at real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was pretty interesting. That means
you know what? We'd probably still be doing the fucking Dragon if they did that 3 years ago. Could you imagine being able to read the 3 years worth of Dragon chats and read the side chats finally? There were times we missed really good shit because it was taken away once we pressed done.
Yeah. We have Saints and Sappers out there redacting all his stuff, retracting all his comments for.
Well, that means there might be a shot of wit in him at this point because he's just telling real truth that he doesn't want anybody to know.
Yeah. All right, Saints, we got it up to you. So that brings, I guess we'll go ahead and switch over to our topic if Tony's going to be able to chime in here a little bit. So if anybody oblad the title of the chat, Das Widerstand, we had an interesting chat last night with Tony. We had some people from across the pond in Germany join us in Tony's chat last night, which
Damn, I missed that.
brought up some interesting, good stuff. And Bikes was able to help translate a little bit to help the cultural barriers with his knowledge background. But we got into the subject of their issues with the Muslim horde invasion that they're going through with the refugee crisis and everything. And there were concerns.
Did you tell them what happened?
Hey, I'm working on it.
Tell them what happened? Oh, my bad.
Pay attention. Quit watching the movie, Tony.
No, the numbers.
We ain't got there yet. I just mentioning what I got to build up, Tony. It's called lead in. Oh, okay. Work on it. Okay, I just don't blow it up like you right off the bat. Man, crushing my vibe, man.
Let him finish his story so I have to ask him 50 questions for the next hour to clarify shit. Like I do with you, Tony.
My bad. I jump in. I'm always quiet. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Now, where was I? So, yeah, so we were in Tony's chat last night, and all of a sudden we had a bunch of Germans come in, which we didn't know that at first, but then they eventually got several come into the chat, and we got to some discussions about their issues with the Islam invasion of their country, which has been long. I would say it's went back for many decades, but it really got hot and heavy, obviously, the last 5, you could say, because they've had Turkish problems for years. But we talked about the restrictions.
Well, finish so I don't get off track. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say we talked about their restrictions on firearms, which have been long standing before that started. And obviously, they've already disarmed a majority of them before this happened. They didn't see it coming. And now they're in a point to where how do they defend themselves? You hear the stories of the mass, the gang rapes and everything else that goes on. And there's no provision for the most part. It's very difficult to defend yourself there. And you could tell that many people were apprehensive, but still wanted to discuss it. And we had about a good 50 people come into Tony's chat extra from across the pond. And that's the title of this chat. Das Widerstand is the resistance.
It was like 60, bro.
Okay, like 60. It's a rounded number, Tony. I'm glad you were counting. Tony got like 100 subscribers out of the whole thing, I think.
People.
Yeah, it was pretty. At first, we were like troll alert, because they ain't never seen that many people jump into a chat at one time, who apparently all know each other. It was concerning there for a second, but ultimately what we got to was that what we are seeing happen there is our future if action's not taken, if we don't heed the warnings, if we don't pay attention to history, if we don't pay attention to the current, that is our future.
Well, their future is a lot more dangerous than ours in that sense because they can walk. Most Muslims, like you said, Turks, they fucked up with the Turks after World War II because they didn't have enough fucking people because there were so many up in Russia that they didn't have enough to rebuild, so they kept letting Turks come into their country, right? So, and this is where it's a dangerous precedent to set even here with this worker visa program, right? Have workers come in, do the work, but they're not actually, then they get kicked out or they stay, right? I worry more about South America than I do about fucking Syria, right? Because it's real simple. There's no land connection between us and Syria. There's a land connection between Syria and Germany. You know, so that's the only place where we have an advantage. We have oceans to protect us.
Well, from Syria, but not from, like you say, in the Middle East or from South America. You're right. But our government is willfully bringing in the same people.
Oh, yeah, man.
Paying for the ride.
Okay, so but while I worry about them, again, I worry more about the people who jump the border. In my town, some drunk illegal wiped out a family in a car, right? DUI. He got arrested, paid $7 grand in bond, left, and skipped to Mexico. Right? I just read in my local paper yesterday that they charged him 14 years, but he ain't never coming back to no fucking sentence. He just went home to Mexico. Same thing's going to happen to this guy up in Colorado. Exact same scenario, right? Wipes out a family, drunk driving. He's here illegally. You know, the state gave him a fucking license or whatever. They arrested him, then they let him go. Just like here in my sanctuary fucking state. ISIS says, hey, put a hold on this guy. They say, fuck no. They let him out. By the end of the day, he's in Mexico. Never coming back to the United States.
Hey, Saints, we haven't had a chance to welcome you. Welcome to the chat.
Hey.
All right, General, what's your thoughts? You heard enough of this?
I don't know. I thought you spoke fluent German. Are you not fluent in German?
9. No, I knew enough to just get through high school, and that was 30 years ago. So
I got you.
you can imagine how much I retained.
Hey, I'll tell you, my impression of what those guys were putting out last night is they're desperate. I mean, you can hear it in their voice, man. You can hear it in their voice. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Exactly. That's exactly. It was not it wasn't a calm demeanor at all. It was really trying to beat around the bush without being too direct about it, because there's probably implications if you do talk about it to a certain degree.
There are. If they said anything that the government of Germany finds unpopular or whatever, they can get arrested over there. Thank God the fucking Germans don't monitor our chats. I hope, it could really screw those people, man. They can't even speak out against it without possibly being arrested, because it's hate speech towards Muslims to admit the fact that they're fucking rapists.
They did talk about that a little bit. That if you brought up the gang rape situation, you were a Nazi. You were labeled a hate crime or hate person, person with a hate group.
Yeah,
they did bring that up.
They nail us here, but we're racist. If we say anything, we're racist.
Yeah, but see, we don't give a fuck.
That's right, and we're armed as of today.
Yeah, so you can call me a racist all you want, but when you start bringing somebody to do something about it, well, guess what? Where they don't, right? So they get called a racist. They have no protections, and that label sticks.
I know we talked to a guy in the privates last night, in a private chat after we got off the live, and he said there are 300 people in their area that are watching the internet for dissension, and I guess they'll come and drag them out of their house and write them a ticket or take them to jail or whatever for saying stuff. So we just told them in the private, don't say anything that's going to get you in trouble. And they're like, so if you could ask them something, they'd say, I don't know. So that's good. They're censoring themselves. So
that's not good.
But it's not good. Right. It's good, but it's not. It's good for them not to go to jail, but it's not good for the rest of the world in expressing their opinion.
Or getting the word out. How do you get the warning out? And that's one thing I was looking into, trying to track down some of the news on it, because I've really not. I mean, we've heard about it over the years, but you become numb to it and you stop just paying attention to any stories that come out. But all the stories are in really back page articles. They're not on the mainstream, that's for sure. And they're buried for the most part,
It's a shame, right? So the wall, right? The Berlin Wall came down. East Germany unified with West Germany. And so you'd think that the West won, right? No. What happened was all those East German fucking Stasi came into positions of power all over the fucking world. And everything they're implementing is just other lighter versions of what the Stasi did. See something, say something, which means rat out your fucking neighbor.
Yeah, well, and they've got obviously a lot of people with experience still live in that country because the Stasi just didn't, up and leave East Germany when it fell. Those a lot of those things got handed down and are still active in the government or got passed down in the government.
Yeah,
and in the EU in particular.
and when you think about it, East Germany, 49% of their fucking people worked in one form or another for the Stasi. Nobody remembers those records coming out in 94, 95 when they started smashing down the old buildings and pulling the records. Turns out half the population was ratting on the other half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I pulled up an article here. This is one from the 8th, so just a couple days ago. And it's talking about a visit. This is very controversial. So they call them far-right German politicians going to Syria to talk about repatriating refugees back to Syria. Because a lot of the areas of the country have been freed of the Al-Qaeda, ISIS types. So they visited to talk about this, and they were demonized by their own government, obviously. The initials of it are called the AFD, and it's spelled out here somewhere, I think. It's Alternative for Germany Party, they call it, AFD. Alternative for Deutschland, probably, something like that. But they're trying to push this in their own government. This is the national, I'm not sure where it's out of, the name of the website, the paper, news source. I'll put the link in the external if you guys want to track down any of this information on your own as well. But it's controversial in Germany to send refugees back to where they came from. I mean, how ridiculous is it that you're having these type of problems and that you get demonized as some? I mean, you have to forcefully take refugees as the same as you would an immigrant for eternity and perpetuity. What's it? Perpetuity? Perpetual? Perpetual acceptance? I don't know. There's a word for it. Perpetuity? Perpetuity. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, perpetuity is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I was muted. Sitting there saying it, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm muted.
But it's like our mentality here with the leftists of we have to accept this more immigrants in perpetuity just because there's no rhyme or reason. There's no logic, obviously. And it's has nothing to do with helping this country. So they're having that problem there.
Well, what they were talking about last night, I don't know if you were in there or not, HD still. I know you dropped when we went private about them bleaching their skin.
Yeah, we talked about that we talked about that out in the public too at the very beginning, remember? Because Bikes brought that up. Bikes brought that up too.
Right. Well, you know what I understand from what the guy was telling us is they're not getting people out of Syria and the Middle East. Very few. Most of them they're getting are not refugees. They're immigrants that are coming out of South Africa, and they're only coming for the kudos. They're building new houses for them. I know that that young lady named Anna, posted a link of all these new houses they're building for these immigrants. Nicer than what I live in.
Well, it's funny. Do you guys know that Merkel finally came out and admitted that there's no go zones in Germany, right? For the past 6 years, she's been screaming that, no, that's not true, right? And when Trump said it, right, that there's no go zones in Sweden and Germany, everybody lost their fucking minds, right? But guess who finally admitted to it? Yeah, as HD's showing.
Yeah, that's one of the articles I found because me and Mule are like symbiotic twins. We're always on the same wavelength. But yeah, here's an article from March 1st, and this is in a UK paper. Merkel admitting that there are no country.
Now think about
and
that.
Even police officers are afraid to visit.
Yeah, no go zones. I mean, we have them in the United States. Nobody wants to fucking admit, right? South side of Chicago's goddamn no go zone, right? Those fucking cops don't go in there unless they're heavily armed, right? Because they know if they just roll in by themselves, they're taking their lives in their hands, right? So we have them here in the United States. You go up to Minnesota, And you go to some parts of Minnesota, especially around Minneapolis, right? There are fucking no-go zones in Minnesota. If you ain't a fucking Somali skinny, you might get fucked up in parts of Minnesota. Right?
Yeah, like the Mall of America.
Same in Michigan, man. You go up by Flint, Michigan, man. The Muslim community up there do not want anybody else in that community. And so it's a no-go zone. If you're a Christian and you show up there wearing a cross, you might get beaten to death on the way out of a town here in the United States.
Well, I know they really don't like the Patriots getting on YouTube talking, but they really don't like the Patriots on YouTube talking to people from other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that hit the radar last night?
Yeah. Probably. Y'all freaking
Is that
out.
why Tony?
Yeah, y'all freaking out.
That's why Tony's primary channel got taken down.
About 300 videos is all.
Yeah, think about it. Tony caught another strike. They're going to they took away the Tactical Tony channel. You know?
That's all right. We still got Tony Norte Las Vegas, so.
Yeah, the only problem is 300 videos, my goddamn notifications keep going off like they're a fucking crackhead. Ping,
bro,
ping,
well,
ping.
look at this is what happened. This is what happened. So I did a video like maybe a month ago, and there was probably like, I don't know, there was a bunch of pages, but most of them I clicked and I was able to get reversed. Any gun videos, even really high, like viewed videos are not, I can't get them out of review. But over this last week when I didn't check it, I would say I had almost 900 videos, and I'd say there was like 300 plus that were overnight hit. And so I got one strike out of those 300, and that was the Day Without Immigrants video, which I can't download it, so I'm gonna find a way to grab it and then upload it again on the other channel, whatever. But I got hate speech on the Day Without Immigrants video. And that's my second strike within like a month and a half. It says I only got one strike, so I don't know. I know I got a new 3-month ban on being live on that channel. So what I did was I tried to like go through the little thing where it shows all the videos in question, and I either made those private or I downloaded a bunch of those and I started uploading them to the other channel. And so once I get them all off the Tactical Tony channel over on the new channel, I'll just start doing the same thing of that other channel to a third channel, and I'll have that backed up private. I won't release it or nothing like that unless I need to grab one, because they're not going to shut the other channel down, dude. This last night's channel, I played music. We talked about everything under the sun. I ain't get a hit. I ain't get nothing, dude. It was a clean-ass 8-hour video.
That was a long chat, man. Getting shut down by YouTube, that's a long chat.
Yeah.
And Tony, not yet, right? So it was a clean chat for last night. The fucking trolls and the goddamn progressives, quote unquote, have not reviewed it yet. Trust me.
Yeah, the GCHQ was still in the bed, but they're looking at it.
Yeah.
It is 8 hours.
I'm not tripping if I lose another channel. So like, whatever, they can't beat me, dude. What I'll do is I took
Just
all those
drop it on a
ones,
disc and I'll download it to my channel, Tony.
right? But not
Send
only
it
that, check this out. There's 300 videos, like I said, like almost like they flagged overnight, but they still got another like 600 videos to go through.
They'll get through them, Tony. They'll get through them, dude. I deal with strikes from the dragon still. Do you understand that?
I can deal with strikes and this, that, and the other, but over on another channel. I don't need that shit on my main fucking channel that I've had. You know what I mean? That shit pisses me off. It does.
All I'm telling you is you're going to have to deal with them no matter what, no matter where you put it, right? Because like I said, I've never taken down a dragon video, right? The shit's there from the beginning. You can go back and watch them. But I deal with flags. I get at least one video a week gets flagged, and I have to deal with YouTube on it.
No, this was like pages and pages, and it's like the political videos I get, all right, and then the gun videos, I get the agenda too. I think it's bullshit, both of them, but they're hitting me for all the construction videos, like of the casinos going up. They're hitting me for the Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge. They're hitting me for videos that got my very first video, the Glock assembly, disassembly video, my very first video is 26,000 views, and it's fucking it's locked up and I can't do nothing with it. I mean, you could view the video, but I'm not getting no love for it, and that's 26,000 views on that shit.
I know if I take down any one of my 5 videos, I'm gonna get fired up because I like my 5 videos.
You gotta be proud of what you got, right?
My video's got 99 views on it. If it don't make 100, they take it down. I'm gonna be pissy.
Oh man, I gotta pay. You gotta make a video of being pissy though when you do it, Saints. All right.
Oh, y'all won't like that one.
I want to see a Tony rant video.
Me too.
I would be pissed. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't try to front on that. If they did that shit to me, I'd be highly upset. You know. That's why I wasn't. That's why I wasn't piling on James Yeager, because as much as I don't like him, like I'd be mad as fuck, dude. I'd be hella mad.
Oh, if he got taken down, you saying, or what?
Yeah, just if I got my channel taken down, that's like so much time and energy. I'm looking at this channel that I'm on right now, the second backup channel. I had that since 2011. So I was making videos over on this channel before I got monetized in 2012 on the other channel. So that's 6 years on the other channel, 7 years total. I think I had another YouTube also, so maybe like since 2010. But bro, that's a lot of years. 6 years for sure of fucking work. I'd be pissed.
Oh, I feel you, man. I haven't even begun work on a backup channel. I can't imagine what I would have to do to. I mean, I've got stuff saved on hard drives, but to upload everything, like the time I could start uploading now, and I wouldn't be done by the end of the year probably.
Yeah. Well, what you got? The only thing that I think that you could do is, well, you don't. To me, you don't have as much to worry about. Like, bro, I could get hit 600 times out of 900 videos on hate speech. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, it's all how you word things. It's semantics to a large extent, because a lot of times we're saying the same thing. I'm just saying it nicely.
Yeah.
You say Astrid Silva's a fat pig. I'm saying Tony's fat girlfriend, Astrid Silva. That's all how you say it.
Right? And so, yeah, that's the deal. But I want to stay on here, and I'd be highly pissed if my main channel. So whatever, I'll adapt all the time. Remember when they changed it, YouTube, the first time, and they split it into 2, and they made us do Hangout, or they made us do Google or G+. They've done all these things, Google, the whole time that we've been doing this, all these years. Every year is fucking something. So how about that hurdle about having to make a certain amount of views by a certain date? It's another hurdle, bro. All it is, another hurdle. So I got to go through, I got to privatize, I got to fucking shift it over. I mean, eventually I'm not going to be making no dough off of the political shit anyway, so that needs to be shifted and backed up. And eventually there's got to be a platform that's going to come out that we can put shit on and still get – you can get advertisements, bro. Everybody was getting advertisements for doing videos, even if they said the F word, you know? You still get advertisements when they say that you don't get no advertisements. You click on your video, you're getting a percentage. Have you ever looked
YouTube gets advertisements. They'll flag your video and they still make money off your video. They do it all the time. People say that it all depends on what your video is about, and if they can put an ad on it and make money themselves. That's what it's all about.
Have you ever looked in the analytics at the amount that have you looked at the cut of the money that you get? Have you ever looked at the cut that goes to Google? The Google cut is like it's like a 70-30 deal, or it's like 80-20 deal. If you look at the monies, it shows on the analytics how much YouTube is making. And I want to say it's like 80-20. It might be worse than that. It's bad, dude. Might be 90-10.
Oh, I'm sure things
might be even worse. I mean,
that.
It's bad. I looked at the analytics and you'd be surprised how much Google is dipping in that money.
Yeah, back when I did my 12 days of Christmas videos, Mule pointed out that they had the 3. It was only, and those videos were only 1 minute, which if anybody knows, you can't put 3 ads on a 1 minute video. Google was doing that because it was during Christmas, and they're dropping all these Christmas ads in there, Amazon or whatever. And Mule made that comment. I'm like, okay, they're gonna make 30 cents off of me. I mean, I get it. It's like it's worth my heartache, but they pull their shenanigans. It's all about money in a lot of respects, but they do have an agenda too when it comes to silencing people.
They said that there's an adpocalypse and that all these people are not making money, this, that, and the other. But I don't know if you listen to music on YouTube, but if you listen to music, which is music like a picture, not a video, not Vivo with the actual music video, but a picture of an album cover or whatever with that album or with that song. If you sit there and listen to music all day on YouTube, like I like to do, there's ad after ad after ad. Those people that are uploading that music have no rights to that music. They have 0 rights. They're not even in a 50-50 like you can get for a cover. You can get a 50-50 for like a cover or an outdoor performance. Sometimes I got a 50-50 on one of those. But they're not making 0 money, and ad after ad after ad. You listen to an album on there, and it's literally an ad probably every 3 songs, and that person that's uploading that shit's not getting no cut. So, Google's getting 100% of ads. They're okay with you using people's shit more or less because they're gonna get money anyways, and they're okay with limiting your ads. What they mean is limiting your money on ads mostly.
Yeah. Well, let's get back. We know YouTube sucks, but it's only the very pie crust of the resistance movement. I guess you'd say it's not really what we would call deep seated. Going back to the German situation, this is and really getting to the heart of. We talk about seeing what's coming here, and this is a good article that just came out. This is from March 7th. So what are described as far-right terror group members jailed for attacks. So it's a group of 20 to 40-year-olds that were created a climate of fear back in 2015 in a series of attacks, political opponents and refugees. They were techniques purchased in the Czech Republic, as they say, and used in explosives. It's called, name of the group is Freital. I would imagine is how you say that, which gained notoriety, is about anti-immigrant protest. And really what you got to think about here is, again, you got to think about the ability of these people to resist. We see, protests here. We see different things. And so this, as we talk about, when do you step up your game? And this is how it leads up. So you're classified as a terrorist group. We've all been identified as that already, half of us at least. But they were all given, this was given 4 years, which interestingly is 20 years old and given 4 years in a youth facility, matching up with our current situation where, living in your parents' house and considered under their health insurance, etc. Is that Tony talking to me? No, he's in the background. But of course they're classified like this, but again, without backlash, where does and nobody's listening, what's the alternative? At what point? I don't know if Tony's talking to family. Does that make sense, Mule or Saints?
They're
About
labeling them.
foreshadowing?
I see they've got them labeled as neo-Nazis. That's probably like them labeling all of us as white supremacists. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I know
domestic tourists, right?
in the external, Stepan said something about, was asking about FEMA camps.
Well, just remember something, though. Look what's going on in Britain, right? So the people of Britain first, right, that all they do is talk. They do absolutely nothing other than protest and talk. And both leaders of Britain first have been arrested for hate speech.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's true. Recently, too, right? In the last week or so.
Yeah, but this is what happens when people, you see, they think they live in a democracy. You don't live in a fucking democracy in Germany. You don't live in a fucking democracy in England. You don't live in a democracy anywhere in fucking Europe except maybe Poland and some of the old Soviet countries that ain't giving in to the fucking EU bullshit.
Hey,
right?
Mule, we don't live in a democracy either, remember?
We're a republic,
we're not supposed
and
to.
we're losing it, right? Because they want to act like we're a goddamn democracy. They want to act like the fucking majority rules. That's what this whole gun grab bullshit is about. Oh, we need to help the children. The majority says, yeah, fuck you. You know what the majority in every goddamn democracy says? We will be able to take what we want when we want to. Why? Because we'll get the votes. We'll find out some way to get popular vote against you, and then we'll be able to destroy you. And that's what they're doing in Germany, and that's what they're doing all over Europe, and that's what they're trying to do here with all these new fucking hate speech laws. You know, fucking California is as bad as fucking Germany and England these days. Don't say shit about the fucking illegal immigrants. Don't say shit about the people jumping the border. You can go to jail for that shit. In California, in the United States.
My advice to the people in Germany would be like the Ukrainians. They're not giving up. They're at it hard. They're knee deep in mud, but they're getting people that are contributing to their effort. And before I would lose my country to a foreign invader or an invasion like what y'all are seeing, I believe I'd have to don't die on your knees. Fight on your feet. Don't die on your knees.
Yeah, and I mean we've talked about it all the time about when is the go time? I mean, and everybody's always like, well, it's not now. People ridicule you or ridicule us or in the side chat. Or I mean, you know, if not now, when the founders would have been shooting already. You know, we hear that all the time. We got a sticker of it. You know, a guy in the chat named Rebel Solutions has a sticker he makes for everybody. Go check out his website, Rebel Solutions Designs. He's got a sticker for you, but and I don't think we can deny that either, but we don't have the galvanized movement yet either.
Here's the thing most people don't realize, because we're looking back at history, right? So the rebellion started in sometime around 1745. It took until, right, Lexington and Concord for the shooting to fucking start. Now, from 1745 until
there was shooting before that, but
organized government shooting against the government, the rebellion against the English government, right? That didn't truly start off until 1775. Now, were there incidents before then? Sure. You want to look at one of the greatest ones? The Boston Massacre. And not those fucks from Chechnya. No, the goddamn British wiping out a protest, right? But that didn't start the war. Right? What started the war was Lexington and Concord, where the British were coming to take the guns from the local militias. Right? They were specifically coming after cannon because they weren't as worried about the guns, not understanding that the guns were much more dangerous than the cannon, but they were going after the cannon. Right? And that's what started the fucking revolution. But now from 1745 and bars all over fucking the 13 colonies, there were people screaming for, when are we going to do it? Today should be the day. These overtaxing motherfuckers, every day. For 30 fucking years they were saying it. Until the day came. And then most of the motherfuckers that were saying shit like, I have my gun and I'm going to go out and fight. Yeah, what did they do? They didn't do shit. Motherfuckers that talked shit and said, we need to do it now. We need to do it now. Back then, when the rubber met the road, they were nowhere to be fucking found. That's why we can say 3% of the population of the colonies fought the British and won. But out of the amount of people in the colonies, I'll bet you 50% of them were talking shit and saying, when's the day? When's the day? I want to shoot me a red coat. You know, but then the day came, nowhere to fucking be found.
Right. Yeah, there's a difference between air and opportunity. For sure. And you threw me off with your rant. I forget where I was. Saints, you gonna follow that up with anything profound? That's a tough act.
Well, I'm gonna put a disclaimer in here. I am not a combatant. I am only in an advisory role.
Tony's dog doesn't believe you.
Okay, we muted Tony. Go ahead, Saints.
But hey, Saints, Tony's dog doesn't believe you.
His dog's probably a Democrat, you know. It's okay because I don't believe them neither.
So you got Rebel out there, the man afraid to show his face or his beard.
What, he's out in the side chat?
I don't know, is he?
No. Oh, I was going to say, I haven't seen him. Let me go out and check it out.
I thought that's what you were saying when you were talking about his sticker, you know, that.
No, I was just giving him a plug, man. I was just doing some advertising for him. No, I don't think he's.
So what's your next topic, HD, before I go off on a side rant? Because I have a couple. You know that.
I was going to stick to the German comparison thing I don't know, until we run it in the dirt a little bit. I mean, there's a couple other ways to look at this and see how we're trending and where they're at and just matching them up with what, we've talked about. And you can see the star. We talked about the stars aligning last week. Well, you can see how we're going to be going the way of Europe if things don't change, if we don't have some serious banding together or some serious actions taken outside of the political realm, because the political realm is just running us through the dirt.
Yes, sir.
Look, I think we're in for a dark time coming in this country, right? Because what's going to happen is one of these confiscation groups, or especially in California, they're going to knock on the wrong fucking door, and there's going to end up being a lot of dead cops, right? The person themselves may also be dead, but the dead cops is what these people are looking for, right? The fucking gun grabbers want dead cops. They want somebody to go ahead when the cops come to confiscate their guns. They want them to shoot the cops. So that way they can turn these cops into martyrs and really go for the gun grabbing, really go for true confiscation.
I said that the other day. They're not above setting up a team to get sacrificed for their agenda.
100%, man. 100%.
Well, they would definitely enjoy it. It's similar to what happened to the brown shirts. It's always a deep comparison with the way the left gets played, like the brown shirts and the SA got played and got taken out by the SS, and they were never the same. There's always that power play within all leftist movements. The Russians and the communists had the same thing to help the Bolsheviks get in power, and they wiped out their opposition. Mao did it. Mao had his farmers, and he starved them and killed them after he took power. I mean, they do it to all their minions every single time.
So did Pol Pot in Cambodia. He did the same thing.
Yeah, it's not just us that's taking the hit.
Yeah. Cuba, Venezuela, same shit, right? But the Bolsheviks, the fucking Russians were beautiful for that. They love useful idiots. They love to send people out there thinking they know what Marxism is really about because they believe fucking what was written down on a piece of paper that nobody's ever going to follow, right? You want to understand what real communism and Marxism is about? Read Mao's little red book. Power comes out of the barrel of a gun. So you need to take the power away from the citizenry, so you have to take the gun, because real power comes by force.
Well, they get people to do their dirty work for them, just like Castro got Che Guevara to do all the dirty work, and everybody talked about how horrible he was, and he was. And then the minute he did all the dirty work, got blood all over his hands, and his job was done, Castro threw him to the wolves.
Well, sent his ass over to start doing it over in other countries in Central America, where he got caught in Argentina and executed, trying to throw over the Argentinian government, right? So, look, I hate to say it, but those kids in fucking Florida, they're all useful idiots, right? Their brains aren't fully formed enough to actually have cognitive understanding, and they're being used. And they're not going to realize it for another 5 to 7 years, and by then it's going to be way too late.
I don't think it's going to take 5 to 7 years before it's too late. Looks to me like they're making their push for 2020.
Oh, no doubt. But I'm saying, no, what I mean is the human beings, right? The human beings that are right now being used as tool for the anti-gun agenda are going to wake up one day and go, what the fuck did I do? It's funny, you talk to a lot of those liberals back in the 60s who went out protest the Vietnam War and all the rest of that shit. What happened when they got old enough? They became part of the establishment. Now, some of them always kept their ideas, but the bulk of them grew out of them. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of these kids, and they're going to wake up and it's going to be too late. They'll already given away their rights because they were manipulated.
Right. And that's interesting how that thought process works. Like, and you see it now that the Antifas, they see this somehow that they're ascending to get rights for oppressed groups, but yet they don't see the irony in how they're taking the other rights that are going to be taken from them after the fact, if indeed this type of power structure comes about.
The funniest thing to me about all these groups is they don't understand, if they actually come to power, they're going to be the first ones up against the wall. Because the power structures are not going to want them to turn against them. Like we said, with the Russians, with the Chinese, you name it. Every one of their useful idiots, they were the first ones lined up once they got to full power. I mean, Mao is perfect, right? Mao is perfect about it. He used the anger, and so was Pol Pot. They used the anger of the rural communities to go against the intelligentsia of their countries, and then destroyed both. Once the intelligentsia was destroyed, then they went and destroyed the farmers.
Yeah, it's like clockwork. It's every single time, every example. Like, we've listed them.
Look, I keep a copy of Mao's Little Red Book, translated into English, and I try and read it at least once a year. I read the Constitution 3 times to 4 times a year. I try and read that red book at least once a year because I got to know my enemy and I want to use his tactics against him.
Yeah, or at least know what their plan or what their agenda is.
Yeah,
so
and
you can counter them.
It was laid out by Marx and Mao and Tolstoy and Lenin a fucking 100 years ago. And these people haven't stopped using that game plan. And yet, all these fucking motherfuckers that say they're so smart don't see it, or they're just part of it. Because if you say you don't see it, I don't believe you any longer. You're
either ignorant or you're in on it, one or the other. And if you're that ignorant, I got no time for you at this point in time in history. It's like you were way too far behind to catch up right now.
Yeah, the only thing to me you'd be good for is fertilizer for the corn. Those people.
Well, it's in your face every day, and the scary thing about it, these people that are hell bound, excuse my use of the word, on taking down the United States, man, they are loaded with money, very deep pockets, and they'll finance anybody that'll shake the apple cart and try to dethrone Trump or take him out of power or take his cabinet out of power or take out any right leaning. And if it did go to blows, you know they would finance the armament whatnot that was shipped in here for the, you know, Antifa or whoever's the opposing force is trying to strike down the Constitution. They're going to fund them because they got such a bad taste in their mouth about the U.S. And a bunch of them are already here.
Oh, most of them go to American colleges and live in large.
Absolutely. Big, nice trust fund that they're, you know, I don't know. Don't trust none of them.
Right. Yeah, and the other group are imported by various groups to attend U.S. University and everything else.
Well, you know, it's funny. You mentioned Che Guevara a little earlier, Saints. Che came from a very wealthy family and was highly educated, right?
Oh, yeah.
Most of the terrorist groups in the 70s and 80s in Europe, they were all highly educated, middle-class kids who wanted power but didn't want to do it the old-fashioned way. And that's what we got now, right? Here in this country with these kids, with all these fucking snowflakes. They want to be they want to be the top of the heap, but they don't want to earn it. They want it just given to them. Or they want to take it without any kind of fucking risk.
That's it. They didn't earn their position. They were given their position and their standing. Yeah, a lot of revolutionaries are educated. I mean, they speak 2, 3, 4 different languages. They know Latin. They know a lot about, you know, medicine. They know legal. Their political background and their political education is poured into them daily, you know, and reinforced every opportunity. And they I mean, I'm sure there's people in Antifa that truly believe that they're going to set communism in place here. That's your diehards. They're the dangerous ones. They're the ones that'll do stuff that they'll open Pandora's box where you can't get back from it.
I would say they're closer to implementing communism than we are to implementing the Constitution, too.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, right.
And these are the people that are voting to disarm the American public.
Oh, without a doubt. Among other things.
You know what's funny, though, is they are not going to understand what they've lost until it's gone. You know? All these things that they're trying to get rid of is things that they're going to want later on in their life. You know, it's funny. I read a thing in the New York Times the other day about how a woman changed her mind after being attacked enough that where she became a gun owner. She decided she needed a gun to protect herself and her family, especially after she was being threatened by neo-Nazis, right? And yet, what kind of response did she get? White privilege. Oh, you're privileged to get a gun to be able to protect yourself, and that's not what should happen, right? It's fucking ridiculous anymore, man. We're in a terrible state of affairs here in our country, and I thought Trump was going to try and fix it. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't at this point. I don't even fucking know, right? He's still doing things that I like, except for any of his talk on guns, you know, but I wonder if he's playing fucking fourth dimensional, 10th dimensional chess to try and expose people who are anti-gun. But he's so deep in the pocket of the NRA, I can't trust him because I don't trust the fucking NRA. They're not there for our fucking, they used to be a civil rights organization. Now they're just like every other organization. You know, Wayne LaPierre needs to get paid millions of dollars a year. And that's the only thing that he gives a shit about. He don't give a shit about my right as a gun owner. He gives a shit about his fucking paycheck.
Does he really get millions?
I think it's like $1.2 million.
Yeah. Top CEO pay, not shabby, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. You know, and look, we got nobody protecting. I mean, the gun owners of America, maybe, you know, but they're not a big enough organization to matter.
Yeah, them in the, what is the National Gun NGCS or what's that organization? I can't think of the name of it.
But most of them ain't big enough to do shit, right? And I wished everybody who over this time that turned around and joined the NRA because, you know, fucking libtards were talking shit about it, I wish they would have sent the money to GAO. At least maybe then it would have been effective, you know, instead of going into the pockets of the fucking upper management.
Yeah. All right, I got some more links out, sent out there, folks. Let's go back in the side chat. They're definitely they're all over the place. They're not necessarily following us, but they're also commenting as we go. Pretty much the same crew. Mall Ninja joined us as well. They're going off on monies and banks, and they're hitting all the good topics, not just what we're honed in on. America Died 1913 joined us. Coming out. Yeah, Stefan Minkenberg says first enemies are government and bankers for humans. Yep. Bikes and Bullets is out there who joined us. Might have to bring him in for some translation later.
Yeah, Guten Tag out there, Bikes. Guten Tag.
Guten Abend. Good evening. I still got a little bit, Saints. Were you ever stationed there, Saints? Were you ever stationed over there in Central Europe?
No, I went in there with the bot totes a few times, but that was it.
Right.
That land in bot totes, put your chute on, get in a 130, and take off again.
Regionalist Podcast Network is with us. Thanks for coming.
I'm going to encourage people to go ahead and listen to Dan Carlin's podcasts on history. It's called Hardcore History. He's discussed how that changeover went in Europe to where they started doing central governments and shit like that, and how it became the government is its own existence. It gives not one shit for any of its people and never has. Right? At least the one thing you could say about monarchies was they did at least in some point give a shit about their people because their people were a reflection of the monarchy. Right? But once the Age of Enlightenment happened, yeah, well, not so enlightening, that Age of Enlightenment.
Did you ever fly into Ramstein, HD?
Yeah, flew through there a couple times.
Yeah, that's all it was for us. Just land there, change aircraft, take off again.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go back and visit. Never got the chance. Yeah, I think that catches us up with everybody in the side chat, and they're definitely hitting all the good subjects. They're good morning, good night, and good evening. They're all over the place. Depends on who you're talking to. But all right, Mule, we're not getting anybody else in here to talk about the German situation and the resistance here. What you got? You said you had some other things you wanted to in your pocket.
Oh, we kind of already covered it in a little bit when it was the thing Saints was bringing up the other day about how we're going to be set up, right, with this confiscation scheme here in the United States, and it's probably going to happen in California, where some law enforcement's going to die, and they're going to change. They're going to use that as a hammer to get us with the firearms. Firearm owners.
A broader push. A broader. Yeah. Be a night of the long knives event.
Exactly, or the Reichstag event. I mean, how the fuck were they able to change again? Really get solid control of fucking Germany? A Reichstag event.
Oh, he sees power, right?
Yeah, and that's what this giant push to get rid of a sitting president is exactly it. And it's happened since the day he was elected. They didn't even wait for him to stick up his hand. And that's what I worry about in this country is they're going to try and overturn the government, and we're fucked. Look, we're going to be fucked. Okay, my grandchildren are not going to be living in a free United States, if it's the United States at that point. My grandchildren, they might be living in the country of Texas by then. Who the fuck knows? But I don't think that by the time my grandchildren hit my age, there's going to be a United States. I used to pray that we would be able to keep this country together. Now I just pray I'm lucky enough to be in the freest part when it breaks up. And it sure as hell ain't here in Illinois.
I think the South will stay together because everybody here has kind of been together because we talked about that the other day. We've been beat down so long. We never have got forgiven for opposing taxation from the North in the late 1800s.
Yeah, but you forget, just like Nevada, Saints, they're pushing people to move there, right? So all those liberals in the East that are sick of cities that they've destroyed, they're moving south. All those liberals in California that have destroyed that fucking state are moving out to the red states. Colorado put in after Aurora, remember how quickly Colorado put in a magazine ban? That shit never would have happened 5 years before. But more than enough Californians and West Coasters moved there to where they've changed the demographics. So I really think the Midwest is going to be the one that sticks together in Texas. Texas ain't going to put up with the bullshit.
Well, that's what they were saying. There's so many people leaving San Francisco to go from Vegas to San Francisco. A U-Haul costs $2,500, but to take a U-Haul from San Francisco to Vegas is $250.
Okay, for the chat room, reverse that. He actually said it a little backwards.
Yeah,
right.
from going from San Francisco to Vegas, it's $2,500, and from Vegas back to San Francisco, it's $250. I don't know whether they're trying to make it hard to leave San Francisco, or whether they're just trying to get vehicles back, or whether it's their insanity of taxes and everything else, or what. But that's a little skewed to me. I mean, 10 times? Are you kidding?
Well, they can't keep the vehicles there because so many people are bailing out California that have the money too.
That's right? The only thing. That's what PI said. PI said it's because they're trying to get their trucks back. But I don't know. That seems a little, man, that's a little steep.
Think about it. How would Penske get their trucks back to California if everybody's just taking them out of California? Right? So they'd have to pay somebody to bring them back in and then pay to get them out of there.
Yeah, that shows me they've got a mass exodus going on.
Same in this state. We looked up how much it would cost to rent a U-Haul to move out of state, and it's fucking crazy. You're smarter to just buy something and run it to the ground till you get there. But it's ridiculous, man. I'll tell you. And people are doing it. They're voting with their feet. They're leaving these states, like mine.
Hey, I didn't make that number up either. That's Tucker Carlson's number, and he's pretty solid on his research.
Where's Bikes?
I think he's still out in the side chat. Yeah, he's still out there. You got a link, Bikes, if you wanted it. Sometimes he has problems with my links, it seems like. Tony sends them through a text. I think I don't have his digits. Tony could shoot it out to him. Maybe he'd get it.
If not, tell him to just get on his bike and head over to Tony's. 15-minute ride, dude.
Go visit Tony. Do a joint chat.
Yeah.
A combo. Uh-oh. Tony's listening to his radio. Let us know if they're coming after you, Tony.
Well, that's it. Tony keeps his scanner on so he knows before they break down his door.
Yeah, they won't be on that channel. At least you'll know if they're coming to your complex, though, Tony. Does your area have much problems, or is it better than where you used to live?
It's pretty busy.
Yeah.
It's pretty busy. Then did you see the little antennas I got in last night? On the chat I did when I started the chat, I got some antennas from China.
Oh no, did you get the extendable, the longer 18-inch or something?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, sir. He got them Nagoya 771s, man. Them are killer antennas. For the money, you can buy 10 of them and throw 9 of them away, dude.
They out here, they're money too. Saints, like out where you're at, the vegetation knocks it down a little bit, but out here, you can talk for 10 miles with those things.
Oh yeah, we got to hit a hilltop around here to get some. But on a hilltop with a whip, you can go 10 miles with a what is it? The Baofeng, the UV5.
Yeah, the Baofeng.
Yeah, Baofeng UV5. Dude, you can hit the repeater 25 miles from here. You don't need to be talking on the sheriff's office repeater, but you can hit it, make it come back.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah,
they're like $1.30 or $1.40 or something like that on eBay a piece. They come from China. I think they took like 3 weeks, but they made it.
Yeah. Have you programmed in all the amateur radio frequencies down there off the repeaters? You need to look into that.
To get my shit. It didn't come with the. I guess there's supposed to be a cord you can plug in to plug up to your computer.
Yeah, it does. You can hand jam it in there. But you look up SNARS, I think it's called, the Southern Nevada Radio Club or something like that. SNARS Radio System. I think that's what it's called. But it's where they got all the repeaters set up. Yeah, no, it's Southern Nevada because ours is different. We have a northern one. And you got a Southern repeater network. You should look into that, and you can hand jam all those, and you can at least listen to everybody. And like all those amateur guys are out there every day, usually doing radio checks and stuff.
Yeah, that's like hypothetically if I had one. If I was gonna get one, you're saying. Right?
Oh wait, I guess I may be wrong here. I guess SNARS is Sierra Nevada. I don't know what the Southern Nevada is. Yeah.
Brother, I ain't no radio man. I know how to talk on them a little bit. I know how to turn them on, change channels, and flip over from frequency mode, channel mode, and all that. But I'm not a commo dude. I'm an engineer.
Everybody's gonna have commo.
What about if the codes are longer on the frequency codes are longer on the page? I've already found the page before, the one that you're talking about, I think.
Okay, I think I'm putting
frequency codes like the frequency codes are like 2 digits longer than is on the
radio. Just don't cancel them out. You won't pick it up. It only goes 3 places behind the decimal point. That's as far as you need to go. If it's anything other than that, you'll still hear it.
Those extra zeros are just bullshit, pretty much.
If they're just zeros, it won't matter. If it can't be more than the 3 digits, because they're working off sideband just like you are. Most of these guys only have a Baofeng or 1 step up. They don't have. I mean, some of them have the super duper stuff, but nobody programs past 3 digits past the decimal that I'm aware of. So you're gonna get a 0.575, 0.525, or 0.55. You know?
5, 2,
Yeah.
5.
I put that link in the side chat for you, Tony. That should give you an
What
idea.
does that mean when it's sitting there doing that number? Is it getting jammed? They're jamming it up or something?
Somebody's hitting the repeater.
Somebody's walking with their mic, mashing their mic button, or riding around in the car, mashing the mic button. They do it here all the time. They'll call the sheriff's office and say, call Unit 10, tell him to answer his cell phone or something like that. Tell him his radio's keyed. About their old lady. And
well, I mean, a lot of these that I've looked up, they're like, they're either dead silent or there's weird shit like that.
No, I'll tell you something. Sounds to me like you're too close to your modem. If you get close to your modem in the house, it'll break your radio up like that. You'll start getting bleed over.
I do have a powerful modem. I mean, I guess I could, or a powerful router. I guess maybe that could be it. I'm not next to it, but it is powerful. So I don't know.
I'm no comms guy. HD's talking about needing to be a comms guy. They teach you radio theory. You know, they teach you how to figure and cut a quarter wave antenna or a half wave, and they teach you how to make a jungle antenna. But as far as going down in the internals, that's a no. Don't do that.
Just learn how to program, and that's all. If you can program it and cut your antenna to the right length, you're set.
All you got to do is remember 234 length in feet is 234 times frequency in megahertz. They give you quarter wave antenna.
Y'all motherfuckers are like way so far ahead of me.
Oh, they got a way of teaching it to you. You'll remember.
I'm still thinking about buying one. You know, like
a nicer radio.
No, just a radio in general. I haven't even bought it yet. That's all. I'm watching YouTube right now.
Right. Yeah, so check that out, Tony. That link's got all the channels on the different repeaters in your area. It's a little different than up here. It looks like ours is set up by location, but yours is definitely more. I guess you got a lot more repeaters to worry about. But they'll have groups that'll get on there at certain times and talk, and you'll see it's got everything south of. Basically, it looks like south of Ely's even on here. It looks like. So, just something to look at. All right.
Okay.
Now that we got off topic, we'll jump back. We'll get back on topic, I guess. We were. Did Mule? Yeah, Mule still was drinking his coffee, staying awake. That's good. But we were talking about the resistance, is the name of the chat, and where we're going. Nobody's joined us. I put some links out there for the usual suspects: bikes, Quasar, all you fools.
Throw a link out to the Germans.
Oh, they've joined us. Oh, is that? What was that?
Oh yeah, they've been in there. You gotta.
Oh yeah, Stefan.
You gotta throw that link out there if you want it to take off.
Oh, we got LK out there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, joined us. All right, on. But we were talking about them earlier. Their ears are probably burning.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to talk about the as we talked about the linking together what we see now with what we're doing and where we're progressing. That's really what I wanted to get across about what we learned from last night, and really focusing in on, dang, we got to get our stuff together or we're going to be there, you know? And we've talked about that.
It's not only we're going to be like them, you know, I worry about them, right? I would rather they become like this chat, like us, you know what I mean? When I say us, I don't mean the U.S., I mean us, like the resistance to this communist world agenda. You know what I mean? And those poor bastards over in Germany, you know, they've had to fight against the Nazi stigma for so long that they don't know how to stand up for themselves any longer. You know, and the people that are, right, those 60 that showed up here, those that are fighting to save their country, because that's what they're trying to do, is save their country. They're being in, you know, and they don't have any of the tools to be able to do it. Those were taken away after World War II. All of them. All the tools taken away and continuously taken away. That's why they have hate speech laws, right? To where if they speak out against this Muslim fucking wave of invaders, right? Because you notice we all knew it 2 years ago when we're watching it. We're seeing it's all young men, military-aged young men coming over to these fucking countries and invading them. One kid drowning in, you know, but they wouldn't show the 15,000 fucking military-aged men that came across. But if one kid died in a boat on the way over, it's a world story, right? But not the boatloads of fucking military-aged guys who just stepped out of ISIS, jumped on a boat, and went to Europe, because guess what? The Americans ain't shooting at them in Europe, right? This fucking soft takeover of all of, especially Germany, because you had a woman who did not have any children, did not care to follow her genetic code to have this. She doesn't treat her country like she's the mother of her country. She treats her country like she's the whore of the country. Here, come fuck anybody you want to, and fuck me, so that way I can retain power. That's why you see 5 years later, right, she's finally admitting there are no go zones in Germany, right? Whereas she could have put an end to them 5 years ago.
Well, she encouraged it, like you're saying, for her own power.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Hey, LK, if you want to join the chat, I sent one on YouTube Messenger. If you know how to get to your messages in YouTube. I don't know of any other way to send it to you. But I know you were in the chat last night with us.
That's how he got in last night.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember how you got it to him. Or I wasn't aware.
Looks like I might be leaving soon. That looks like my train.
Uh-oh. You got a crew coming in?
I don't know. They'll call me when they do. It just looks like the train that I dropped them off at. That's all.
Yeah. Miss B. Stacy's with us out there. Thanks for coming and checking us out.
Hey, Miss B.
We're talking about some things we learned about the Germany refugee situation last night, Stacy, and we're linking it to our situation and what we need to prepare for. And the name of the chat is The Resistance, but in Deutsch. And just where we're going, because we consider ourselves a large part to be the resistance here, but they really need a resistance. And like, how do we keep from being mitigated or ineffectual, I guess, to a large extent as well? We got to be, how do you be effective?
Well, that's the hardest thing, because now with propaganda machines going against everybody who could be effective,
yeah,
it's crazy hard, right? So, you look at all these open, supposed free speech platforms that are getting shut down or censored left and right. YouTube's if the algorithm catches you, you're censored. You're done. Right? And the same with all open to, it's all done. We don't have free speech in this country any longer. We like to think we do, but we like to think we're free. Yeah, go fishing without a license and tell me how free you are.
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right. D Vincent W joined us. Yeah, things are bad, but we're all still kicking it, right? Politically Incorrect joined us in the side chat.
Yeah, we're all still kicking it for now. I mean, look, here's the thing. It's incremental, right? Your freedoms are stolen from you incrementally. And half the time they convince you to give them up. Right? Like they're doing right now. They're convincing people to give up things they spent money on and things that can protect them with this false promise of the cop that's 10 miles away is going to protect you. But we must do it for the children. We must do it for the children. We must do it. And the funny thing is, who do you think does most of the fucking home invasions in this country? The children. Turns out, if you want to go look at the stats, and you can more than welcome to, FBI records it, the home invasion, the bulk of the people who perform home invasions are juveniles, under 20, right? But the fucking children. Yeah, once you give up your guns, the fucking children are coming and going to rape your wife, kill you, and take your shit. But the fucking children needed to be safe.
Right. Herr Mike has joined us. Is he going to speak or is he going to hide out in here? What's up, Bikes?
Good evening. I'm sober.
Hang on, man. I need to get my calendar.
About time.
Now, hold on. Is that a help or a hindrance there, Bike?
Let me get my
I don't know,
calendar.
man. We'll
Put a
see.
scratch
We'll see
on it.
where this goes.
Let's put it this way. Alcohol will bring out real truth. That's why the fucking American Revolution started in bars.
I'll tell you what, Mule. Last night the bar was open, man. I mean, it was wide open. Had a few shots last night. My apologies for going off the rails and getting ridiculous. My bad.
Man.
Well, that's why I can't even imagine what it would be like if I did a chat while I was drunk. I haven't drinking in years. The amount of truth that would run out of my mouth, my wife would shoot me, and then everybody else would.
That was a lot of fun last night, man. It was actually you guys ran a tight chat.
For the common sense barriers to get down, and I let out all the real truth that is in my fucking crazy ass noggin. Yeah, they'd be knocking on my fucking door. But then they find me dead because my wife would have stabbed me in my sleep.
Yeah, this is good timing, Bikes. We're 2 hours in, so this is a perfect time to like gently get off the rails. You know, we can meander.
Oh no! I'm gonna stay on the rails, man. I'm just
real quick tip for Tony before he does it too much. When you're talking on that radio, turn it upside down with an antenna facing away from your face. Are you listening, Tony Tone? Trying to keep 5 watts from cooking your brain. I guess he's not. Never mind. I'll catch him when he rolls back over and puts his pajamas back on.
You know how sailors are, my saints.
Yeah, the attention span of a flea.
No, but Bikes, we were talking at the beginning of the chat. Really, you know, I named this based upon the chat last night and just talking about, we kind of alluded to it last night about the foreshadowing of what's going on there and what we're experiencing here and what we have to do so we don't end up as the same status and in the same ineffectual resistance, if you will. We kind of covered some of the news topics on how people are demonized for standing up for their country or their people, you know, there and such. And we see it here to a certain extent. We just had some discussions about being ready for that or resisting it or however you will, you know.
The way I see it, and this is just my opinion. I don't know. Some people might agree with it.
Why does everybody always say that? Just my opinion.
Just my opinion, man.
You're supposed to go, no, you will believe like I do or else.
The crimes that are committed by our governments are being used against us. The crimes that they commit, we're being charged with these things. I mean, I want you to think about that for a minute. So that's just what I see. So stopping it, that's another matter altogether because the Constitution is no longer in play. We already know this. They're using titles. Shit, think about Title 18, 115. You know, if you have the wherewithal, go read these things. I had to a long time ago, many years ago. Go read these things. Title 18, 115. Look in those subsections right there, and see what they can do to you just for opening your mouth. You know, and
you actually feeding right into my whole projection theory, right? So everything the fucking liberals accuse anybody else of, it's actually shit that they do.
Correct. That's exactly right.
They accuse you because they already do it. So they imagine that there's no way in hell that anybody else wouldn't, right? They don't get it. They don't understand that if, say you saw guys like us saw an old lady drop an envelope full of money. We're going to pick it up right away and go give it to her, right? A fucking liberal is going to accuse us then of stealing it because that's exactly what they would do. If they saw that same person drop the money, they would pick it up, put it in their pocket, and then go over and say, you need to go to the government to try and place that money, right?
Right.
And here's why they get away with that. Because they are using your morals against you because they know you have the morals to not steal. They don't hold that true. They are whatever works for me, whatever helps me get ahead, etc. That's in the Communist Manifesto. That's in Communist Dogma. Every line.
Like I said,
when you read,
that's why I read, Mao's Little Red Book at least once a year to remind myself that that's exactly what the fuck they're doing, right? So they're going to call you a racist. You can guarantee they are. Right? If they're going to call you a misogynist, you can guarantee they may be a female, but they're going to think female empowerment is more than male empowerment, right? So they're the fucking misogynists, right? But they're going to accuse you of it, even if you're not, right? Because they know the label will stick, right? Especially if you're a white cisgendered male. Oh my God, you have to be. There's no way in hell you can't, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Everything they do, they can project onto you, and they're gonna act like it sticks, even though they can know it's a fucking lie. They know deep down in their soul it's a lie, but they don't care. They don't care because they're out for power. They're not out for the benefit of mankind. They're out for power.
What's scarier is when they write this shit down to wit when it's being used against you. You know what I mean? That's what's fucking scary. That's creepy as fuck. Charging you for a crime that they committed. I'll just give you an analogy example. Let's use obstruction, right? Simple obstruction. You know that sheriff is obstructing, right? He's obstructing justice by not revealing everything to the public interest that pays him. He's committing a crime of obstruction, but yet he goes around citing people for.
Those fools blocking metros, trying to extort everybody over they're saying pay us like $500,000 or we're not going to release all the stuff the judge already ordered them to release, body cam footage and all that other good stuff. So Metro's holding that up over 500. It's like 460 grand that Metro's wants their money or they're not going to release the shit.
Now, if you or I did that, we'd be sitting in the pokey wearing a little silver bracelet.
They fucking SWAT team.
They do it. They do it. I mean, that's the perfect analogy right there.
It's the worst people to try and get to listen to a lawful order. Do you know how many departments in this country right now are sitting under judgments that they are not fulfilling, from releasing info, releasing videotapes, releasing corruption data, any of that shit? And the courts order this. Judges come out and say, we have a judgment against you. Fucking Broward County has a judgment against it to release training shit, all kinds of stuff. Even their own deputy association is suing Broward County Sheriff's Department and have a judgment against them. And guess what? Broward County says, fuck you. You know what we're going to do with any money that's there for your fucking armor and your training and all that shit? We're going to go buy a Ferrari and paint the sheriff's face on the hood, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
Ain't that bizarre that they have a Ferrari? They have a Ferrari at Broward County, Florida. I mean, that's talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. Like who? Like how would the populace not? I just don't get it.
That was garnered under civil asset.
I don't get how they have all these kids still standing up talking about gun violence when the whole reason why this kid got away with shooting as many people as he did was because the cops did not do the fucking thing they're paid to do. Right, to go stop it. But they're not really paid to do it. The cops are not paid to protect you. They're paid to protect the municipality. They have no fucking obligation to protect a single individual citizen. They can sit there and watch you get fucking skinned alive, and they ain't gonna do dick until the guy's done skinning.
Well, and you're getting into a chat I did want to get into. We should probably do it now if we got time. Yeah, how long are you going to be on here, Mule? Because Reb brought that up, and we've talked about that in the past. That the Supreme Court held that police don't have a obligation to protect the public or to protect the individual. We can't hold the police accountable because the police are a corporate entity, but we who vote for sheriff, that we tell them what to do. They are not the same classification. It's up to us to tell them what their job is, and if we want to hold them to that social standard of protecting the people, that's up to us. We have to get that done.
Here's where I believe the breakdown on that is.
Can I say one thing, Bikes?
Oh, there's a breakdown for sure, but that we can do that, and at least as far as the sheriff goes.
Let me say one thing before you start on your thought, Bikes. Hold on to it hard so you don't forget it, right? But
did we lose him?
I think so, because
I'm hearing
he's froze. Oh, it must have been good too, because mule don't freeze unless it's good. Right. You know, that was going to be profound right there.
It was something that he was not meant to say.
Go ahead, Bikes. We'll catch up.
The caveat to holding your official liable. Now, accountability. Accountability is something I view as something different. Okay, liable for their actions because you elected them, right? So when I say you, all of us in general, we elected them. The thing that's never scrutinized is how do you recall them, right? Legitimately recall them and go, okay, you're not doing your job. That should be scrutinized. If they're not doing their job and they're seen as corrupt and their department's corrupt, there are ways to actually recall them and install a new sheriff, right? That's a conversation that should be scrutinized amongst people, not the fact that they're just corrupt and then leave it at that. That's just my opinion. What happened to you, Mule?
Oh, my boss called. I got to head back. My train crew's stuck somewhere along the way, and they're not going to be here for at least 5 hours. So.
Oh God. You had a thought. Go ahead.
Well, I lost it when the boss called, so the mind switched from what I care about to work. So, anyway, listen, I got to go, guys, and I'm not going to be able to talk while I'm driving. So I'll listen to if you're still on when I get to where I'm going, I'll hit you up. If not, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I'll be listening to it when I get home off of work this morning.
Right on. All right, have a safe drive, Mule.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow, though. Remember, Kansas Hillbilly chats tomorrow, and I will be in it. So if you guys can join up tomorrow, probably half the guys on this panel will be in it. So
later,
I'll talk to you later.
See you, Mule.
That's right, and that's going to be on Kansas's channel, the Kansas Friends chat, the last one.
How long has it been now since he's passed? What, 4 or 5 months now?
Oh, has it been that long? 3 months, maybe? Has it been? I don't think it's been 4 or 5. It was before Christmas, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I guess. Yeah. 4 or 5. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. There was a guy who really loved our country.
Right. All right, Bikes. Did you have a continuing thought, or
No, I just suggest that people actually start learning. Be grown-ups about all of these things and start learning. Think about the language that's being used and how it's used and how it's interpreted and how it's meant for us to use. You know what I mean?
Well, words matter. Words mean things, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
That's definitely something to always listen closely.
I don't know that we're so far down the rabbit hole now that words are going to do any good, guys.
No, my point is, Lewis, is that it's the words that are being used on the general public to keep us going in this direction of idiocy. You know what I mean? And they use it legally. You know what I mean? Not lawfully, legally. It's that's my point. So.
Well, some of these people are just like Oprah Winfrey said. They're just marinated in this communism, socialism type. Which she wasn't talking about the communist socialists. She's talking about the patriots. And I don't. They're not going to come back. I don't think you can get them back. I mean, I've met several of them. They'll argue with you till you literally drop dead that they're right and you're not right, and they're wrong, and wonder how in the world they got their mind on that far out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's in 1,000 different directions.
Are you trying to say something, Tony? Or are you like look like you was trying to eat the TV or something?
Tony,
I'm looking at these codes. I got a big old list here. I got a different one, and these ones work.
These
ones for programming.
Did you understand that message I sent you, Tony, about holding the radio away from your face when you talk on it?
Yeah, I got that.
Turn it upside down when you talk on it. Don't have the antenna running by your head. Have it going down.
What, you fry your brains or what?
Well, it keeps that 5 watts out of your head that you're trying to transmit. It's going through your head.
So do I need to turn it up if it's not on 5 watts? It says 2.5.
Well, it depends on if you're trying to talk across the valley or across the parking lot.
If you're listening,
lower the wattage.
If you're listening, I may be wrong. If you're listening, I don't think it matters. If you're talking, it matters. Is that right, HD?
Yeah. It won't matter if you're just listening in. It's when you transmit that wattage matters. Yeah, that's just your transmit wattage. So. So you could leave it on 2.5. You should be fine. I mean, until you get ready to talk to Bikes or something, Bikes turns his radio on. You'll need the 5. Talk to Custom Black. You'll be on 5 there too.
Trying to get some of these punched in. I got a bunch of them punched in. The ones that sound like they're working.
Cool. Yeah, and not ever. I mean, with that amateur group, you're only going to have certain ones at certain times of day. You might be able to get a hold of a list that tells you when and what days they do like a call in on that channel, and it's going to be certain channels are used for certain things. Like the amateur and radio networks are used for some of the disaster stuff, so they'll practice on it like once a week and just get on there and Fruit Loop. It's a bunch of 60-year-old guys sitting around in their garage. And,
well,
and usually there's a Saturday radio calling a group of channels.
What do you spend for the radio, Tony?
If you don't have your license, your ham radio license, you can't do Google chats with them.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You can pick up the taxi cabs pretty good. What do you call it? Their dispatch.
Are you checking out the 800?
Huh?
Are you on the 800 band?
Nah, he's not.
I'm on.
He's on the Bofang. He doesn't have 800.
Should I get an 800?
You're talking money, son. Well, you got the scanner. You are on the dispatch scanner, so that's about as good as it's going to get.
That radio only goes to 530 megahertz, dude. It goes from like 142 to 170 something, then it jumps from 429 to like 535. So you're not going to be talking to airplanes or.
You're not talking to me.
No.
Yeah. Jay Sparks says, if you're not licensed, do not transmit on a repeater. They will hunt you down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, though they have crews that go out. Well, Wild Iron Horseman had a story about that one time way back in the day. He had picked up a bit and somebody showed up at his house.
I bet he was probably like, what the heck, right?
Yeah, some FEC guy, like after a couple of weeks of him transmitting, tracked him down.
Shout out to Truth out there, trueblitz.com.
Yeah, shout out Truth. What's up, Truth?
You know him? I'd never seen him in a chat before.
That's Truth.
That's Truth. That's fucking
Oh, is that
Truth.
Truth? Oh, okay. Was it True Blitz? I've never heard of trueblitz.com.
That's his website. That's
Everybody's
the shit.
got. Oh yeah, everybody's got too many different daggum channels. I can't keep up with it all. Tony's got 2. That's my max participation right there. Yeah, cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, you put a channel. That's a channel, common channel.
Let's see what else we're saying.
No
Right on.
license required. Let's try it. Hey, anybody out there?
Yeah, and you'll see in that list they got like PL codes and stuff. That's just slight offsets that need to be programmed if you're going to actually communicate with them. Right on.
The only truth exists in knowing you know nothing. Yeah, it's kind of profound, isn't it? That was D. Vincent W. Yeah.
Dang, what were we talking about before we talked about the radios? We got off subject again.
The police not being able to protect nobody, and I got so disgusted I changed the subject.
Right? Yeah, I mean.
And the Supreme Court came out and said that you're not supposed to talk to them without counsel.
Correct. Do not say nothing. And that's the biggest mistake that people make, right? I mean, they really self-incriminate out of nervousness, or they'll answer questions, and it's purely psychological when people actually incriminate themselves out of fear.
It's sad too, because it's the culture we've been raised in, that they're there to help you, and people automatically like default to thinking, well, he's trying to help me, but they're trained to dig stuff out to shut you down, there to put you away. That's the way they're trained. They're not trained to help you.
They're looking for things.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Every non-consensual contact is a fishing expedition exactly for that. So, that's the purpose, to investigate. And they expect your cooperation in investigating yourself.
Right.
And that's why I tell people you have no obligation to participate in an investigation on yourself. You always ask the nature of any inquiry they have to you. Always.
Hey, Tony.
And then they'll know it. They'll know.
Is Truth down there, or where's Truth located?
No, Truth's up in like Michigan.
Oh, okay. Right on.
He's Wisconsin.
Up there with J.J. McKay and all those folks still digging out of snow.
People say the police are that was Boneyard Militia. The police are just revenue generators. I would call them a compulsory service. That they're thieves too. Yeah, well, it's a compulsory service. You know what I mean? If you know what that is. So it's true. People have good intentions, but usually they wind up doing bad things or covering up for bad things out of embarrassment and things like that. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, that's just human nature. A lot of these guys. So.
Well, and that's part of the whole situation, is so many things are used against our human nature to devolve us to where we're at. Not just, it's just like the way they manipulate politicians against each other, the way they've held their own actions against themselves to blackmail them. Through decades, that's how people get involved in that stuff to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even being political. That's just reality, right? So it's just how it is.
Yep. Apparently, that's the situation. You can't see it for anything else, right? What else is going on?
We got some of our friends from across the pond out here, huh?
A couple of them were in there earlier. LW was in there. I sent him a link, but he jetted out. Got some family stuff going on.
Stefan was in here last night.
Yeah, I see that. It's kind of cool.
Very cool. Tony went worldwide last night, man.
Oh yeah, he blew us up. I think he blew us all up.
Yeah. Okay. He's from Germany.
Yeah. What's going on over in your area, Saints?
Brother, it is pouring down rain so hard here right now you can't even see the front porch. See, Mike shocked everybody last night. He's been doing this. He's been being this gray man, telling everybody he's a mechanic. I'm just a mechanic. No. He went from mechanic to YouTube celebrity international translator last night in T-minus 5 minutes.
Oh my God, man!
Oh, it was legit too, wasn't it? It was like straight up NSA, FBI, CIA covert op guy.
That's some funny shit, Lewis. No, man. I as long as they speak slowly, I understand way more than I can actually speak. It's pronunciation's key with especially with German, because you have feminine and masculine pronunciations of words and shit like that. And it's been many years. Boy, if my mom heard me speaking last night, she'd be pissed. She would have been pissed, man. Yep. I'd have probably got a smack inside my head. Oh, I bombed it, man. I think it was the third or fourth shot in. That's what really fucked me up.
It was pretty cool, like you're saying, though, because like I could pick up what you were saying better than what they were saying, just because of my understanding, like you're saying. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I guess the Bikes is on track. He's not leading us astray too far, even though he has 3 shots to the wind.
Yeah, it was terrible. After the 5th shot, your English got really bad and theirs got really good.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I can imagine. Oh shit. That was fun though. I couldn't believe it. At first I'm like, oh man, Tony's chat's just gonna get blown to smithereens and freaking shut down or something.
Yeah, and trolls are here. Trolls are here. Yeah, we were worried there for a while.
It turned out to be cool. It turned out to be very cool.
Dude, I jumped on the outside and was watching the list of people in the chat to make sure it didn't start disappearing.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I told Tony he needs to throw some wrenches out there, because he didn't have any wrenches in the side chat. I'm like, oh man, it's going to get ugly.
He left the house without his protection.
No doubt. He let his cart before the horse for sure. Tony's got that radio working.
My bad. I keep forgetting if I'm muted or not muted.
Yeah, that was interesting, Bikes, because you were saying that your mom came over fairly recently, and one of your sisters was born over there.
No, my mom didn't come over from Germany. She went back to visit.
But she grew up in Germany.
Yeah.
So she's first generation. That was interesting. Like my family all came over, 1740 and stuff. So it's a lot different relationship.
On my dad's side of the family, it was early mid. I think it was like 18. It was mid 1800s when my dad's side of the family came over. So, but yeah, my mom, man, yeah, her parents, my grandparents were never really happy with her. She married a U.S. soldier, and my grandfather was a Nazi, man, for sure. He really was, and he was captured down in South Africa. So he was a POW. He's never really been too cool with Americans, but I mean, fuck, man, they just wanted grandkids, and they got grandkids, so they were happy. But yeah, they didn't really care for him too much because he was in the army. Yep.
Right.
The funny thing is, my mom served in the Army too here in the United States. It was back in the early 80s, so into the 90s. So her last post that she worked was out at Fort Lewis up there in Washington. So
She
was
joined the Army?
Joined the Army. Yep, she served in the Army. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure did. She was processing, doing admin work for the SF unit up there. That's what she was doing.
She might have run across Saints at some point in time.
You don't know, right?
I've been to Fort
Never
Lewis.
know.
They're looking for a suspect in Spider-Man pajamas.
Are you serious?
Either that or a toddler. Either way, it's all bad.
only in Vegas, right?
Right.
Is he 421, Tony? Is he 421 or what?
I didn't hear what the code was.
Okay. I'm
Go out,
what's
look out.
I gotta get that. I gotta get that too. I don't even care about Metro. I'm trying to pick up North Las Vegas, but I cannot pick up North Las Vegas. That's what I care about. I don't live in fucking Las Vegas.
Yeah, Metro's wide. They're all over the place, man. Every place is their jurisdiction.
Yeah, I was thinking, aren't they all in the same dispatch network?
Nah, they don't come out here. They for sure don't come out here.
Well, they don't roll out there, but all the dispatches are done through the same network. No? Okay.
They're all dispatchers.
He is still running a chat, huh? Is he in his chat?
Who's that?
G's running a chat. I was wondering if he's in his chat. Hey, don't this guy right here, Luke Banter, don't he speak German?
The Canadian?
Yeah.
He probably speaks better German than I do.
Tony just froze, didn't it?
They speak French.
Yeah, that's right. He does. Right, Saints? He
speak
speaks French.
They don't speak Alemani.
No, I know they speak French, but somebody said that his friends are German or some shit. He's in a community of Germans or some shit.
Well,
Somebody was telling me that.
I asked politically incorrect about it. He said, I don't speak as much as Mark does. I said, never mind.
Hey, we got in the side chat, we got Green Bay Wacky. His daughter speaks German. She had her on a chat one day. She was spitting it out like it was cool. He's up in Wisconsin. I guess his daughter's taking German. They're German. Been to Germany, all that good stuff. When you get another translator, if we lose bikes, we'll call him in.
Oh yeah, do that. Both my sisters, man, they stayed in practice. Actually, they still spit it out pretty good. They stayed in practice. I just didn't. I mean, like I said, that was a trip last night, man. That was a lot of fun.
It's funny because I have a German English dictionary, a Berlitz dictionary from when my mom and dad were in Germany. And I showed it to my high school German teacher. And he's like, "Oh, this is ancient crap. We don't speak like that anymore." Just in that few 20 years, just in those 20 years, the language had changed so much, like the way they translate.
Right. Just like we have different dialects, right? So they also have different dialects as well. Like you have a Southern draw,
high German, low, yeah.
Right. It's the same thing over there, man. So it's a trip, man. Yeah. It's pretty neat, though. Oh, yeah. They got me thinking about eating pizza last night, man. Oh,
yeah, you're talking about the pork. Yeah, laying it out there.
I miss it, man. I miss it. Yeah. You were saying, Lewis, I cut you off, man. My bad.
We have slanguage down here. Not language, but slanguage.
Slanguage, yeah. What it is, man. I mean, I always wondered about that if that's true for every foreign country outside the United States when they, in their
different
native
dialects.
tongue. Yeah, if they have different dialects. I was always wondered about that. But I always knew that Germany did.
From where I've been, I mean, Iraq has like 3 or 4 different dialects. Afghanistan, they speak 2 primarily different languages. I mean, they have the Farsi and the Pashtun they're not even close, or really. So it just depends.
My brother was saying about that. Yeah, it's kind of funny you bring that up. My brother said the same thing when he was over there. He was like, "Yeah, they have 2 different fucking languages in the same country." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And that's what he said.
Yeah, and a lot of countries are like that. We make fun of the Canadians, but a lot of countries have that split in their languages.
Yeah.
Like in Italian or something.
Du hast mich.
Speaking of Italian, did you see Tommy Robinson punch that migrant out in Italy?
What?
Oh,
Yeah, you know Tommy Robinson?
I did.
Yeah, he punched out that migrant. That migrant told him he was going to kill him. He was in Italy. They were filming in a no-go zone. And fucking migrant told him he was going to kill him. And fucking Tommy fucking slugged him right in the face. It was great.
nice.
Is that Tommy who?
I don't know if it's Robinson or Robinson, one of them. I think it's
Who's
Robinson.
Is he like a
He's UK. He's like a UK nationalist.
Oh, he's like the English first movement or whatever.
Something.
They put him in jail a bunch of times for I don't know what you call it, hate speech. I think they did, but he actually did time over his speech.
Yeah.
Stan just said that Tommy and his crew got attacked today as well.
Who said that?
Stan. Shout out to Stan Ulch out there.
Oh yeah. That they were in where were in Italy, I guess. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the insanity and the idiocracy is just running away. I mean, it's
I see some of the videos from Britain and from France and other places, and it's like there needs to be some ass whoopings going on. Like they should be like breaking out baseball bats and stuff. Like I don't know why they're putting up with half the stuff they do. Like
Somebody should be doing a call to arms video out there.
There you go. Speak the truth, right? Yeah, they'd probably be put in jail just for doing a call to arms video.
Mm-hmm.
Pack your bags, right? Pack your bags, pack your mags. Let's go.
Yeah, and step off.
It'll be more like a call to hammers and kitchen knives because they have no arms.
Right? I mean, whatever it takes.
They were saying like the people in the chat last night in the outro were saying like 1% of people are preppers in Germany too. Like there's no such thing pretty much. Like there's basically,
I remember us asking them about that. Like nobody's really preps for more than, or it doesn't exist. It's people basically just live day to day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is true. From what I remember as a kid, they usually their lifestyles are completely different from here, right? I mean, even the structure of their housing, the sizes, everything else. A lot of them, they go shopping daily, for their groceries and things like that. So, I mean, I'm sure things have modernized over the last 30 years.
Yeah, when you go over there, that's what I was telling my girl, like when I was explaining to her, like there's no place like America. You go overseas and like everything's different, dude. I mean, there's nothing the same in Europe as there is here. Like the outlet's different, the bed sizes are fucking different. I mean, everything. You go out and try to get a 2-liter in Europe. Good luck. There's no such thing.
It's a liter.
You can get a liter. Yeah, get a liter. That's it, right?
It's these right here that we're using now. The little skinny ones.
Yeah, but you can find those. It's because they charge more for them.
I mean, everything's different out there to where I guess even if somebody had some comprehension of prepping, it's like, is there like a sportsman's or something for them to go to? You know what I mean? A lot of the places have those little like how we got bodegas out here, like corner stores, like Mark's saying, they fucking go shopping every day. It's a little it's a little convenience store, like with milk and bread and like a little grocery store.
Yeah.
But in the size of like a gas station. So
yeah, they got little markets everywhere in those little towns. Like the last one I lived in, it was a little town called Lutzel, Saxon. It was about 10 miles outside of Mannheim, Germany. My father, he rented this house out there, and the army paid for it. They were paying him separate rats and housing allowance, and all that other shit. So, and we would stand. We'd have to walk down this hill about not even a mile, and we wait for this little private bus to come pick us up. To go to our little DOD schools and shit. And we'd stand outside this butcher every morning. This lady would come out and give us fresh wurst and shit. I mean, she's really super nice to us, just waiting in front of the store. I remember shit like that. But yeah, they got little corner stores everywhere, and everything's fresh. That's just the way they do it over there. So
yeah,
here,
I mean,
grocery stores, man, they wiped everything out.
I thought it was cool. I was young, I thought it was cool. It was different. But now that I'm older, like the reflection on it is like, I always think like, man, ain't nothing the same. Hey, Bikes, your screen is like fucked up. You look like you're in a 90s VHS film.
It's split, right?
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? Huh. It's split. I'm going, what the hell's wrong? I was looking at that earlier, and I was like,
you got like those staticky lines, like old VHS tapes.
Man, thought my computer was old.
Dude, it's not though. This is the third computer in 7 years, man. I still got another computer over there. I got a bunch of shit on. I can't get it off. I've got one that the motherboard is fried in it, and I still got to go take it and get all the info out of it. So
my experience in Europe that kind of stuck with me is we got to go out in the countryside and go see the little cobblestone streets and the buildings. And I mean, man, we're out in the middle of nowhere. This is like probably little villages of 100, 150 people, maybe. And we had a military guy with us. He was probably equivalent to an E6. And I do really remember this one experience where we went into this little local, supposed to have been in the center of town, the little restaurant there where, it was kind of the nice place in town. And they don't deny the military anything over there. And this guy went in and told this guy that said, I need to see the store owner. And the little old guy came out and had his apron on and all. And he spoke to the guy for a minute, and the guy went back in the very back corner to the nice corner and told everybody, you got to get up and get out. We got people that needs this table. And, buddy, he threw his guest out. And, I mean, I was just standing back. I was a young man. I was standing back, and he went back there and cleaned that table off, chop, and set the chairs and all for everybody. We sat down, man. They bring out a bottle of wine, show it to the guy, if is it okay, and brings out this big, giant plate of, like, these freaking acorn-fed sliced smoked pork and a big plate of cheese and all. And it's kind of like, man, we can't deny, and got up and walked out. I'm like, what's going on? And, the guy's with us over there, kind of our guide over there, whatever, not guide, but he was our equivalent in their deal, or wanted to be our equivalent in their deal. He's like, man, these people they're scared of the military. Military comes in, and they told us before we got over there, if they say stop, you stop, or they hose you down with a machine gun. So we're a little different here in the States than they're over there. And remember, this was years ago now.
Yeah, I always remember hearing a story. I mean, even the Polizei was nothing to mess with.
No.
Never. I mean, that's nationalized police for you.
Yeah, when they holler stop, you better stop, or they hose you down with 9mm.
Yeah, I remember we were in Japan. Like, Japanese police don't put up with nothing either. They'll drag you out of your car and beat you.
Now my camera's better, isn't it?
You ever go to Oki Bikes?
Okinawa?
Yeah. Yeah, remember the stories about the police, like, don't mess with the Japanese JPs. They'll pull you out and beat you with their sticks in a heartbeat.
I've heard the stories, man. I've heard the
Right.
stories.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy's like, I ain't crossing that line.
You got to behave yourself any place you go to, man. I mean, my God.
It's always best
Even-
policy. You're a guest. That's the best way to approach it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, that was weird. All I did was just sign out and then sign back in. Now my camera seems to be fine.
It looks the same on my end.
Oh, it's still split?
Oh, no, I see. Oh, it looks better. That's right. Yeah, before it was all okay. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, you're right. It looks better.
Those countries over there, from what I saw years ago, and I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's been several years, decade and a half, 2 decades since I was over there seriously, and I know that they, from what I saw, they were still suffering from their loss in World War II. I mean, they hadn't came back up on line yet. They were still, a lot of poor people. Freaking infrastructure was terrible, which I know in Germany they had the autobahns and all that, but the other countries over there, man, their roads are terrible, man. I mean, their best highway is like, I don't know. There were some of them that were pretty good, but the minute you get off the main highway, buddy, in 6 months, you're going to need a set of shocks.
That's funny. Saints, you talk about that. Like, I'd been through Ramstein Air Base before, and I'd flown through there. And on another trip over to the Afghanistan, we flew through. It's a town in East Germany. I can't remember the name of the town, and it was a stark difference. I mean, you're flying in from the air, you can see the difference as you fly in of just the landscape, the buildings.
Yes,
just
sir.
They
Poor
still,
people.
and this is 20 years, not quite 20 years. This is maybe 12 years after the wall's fallen, 12, 15 years, somewhere in there, after the wall's fallen and everything's kind of, Germany's reunified, but stark difference from the West still to the East German infrastructure and just the way that airport was laid out. We had to, we got off that plane, we walked across the tarmac, and just like, man, it's just, you can tell the difference for sure.
Yeah, they're poor. They were poor, really poor. Where I went, I saw a lot of poor people. I saw a lot of goat herders walking around with their flip flops on. The what I call a Ho Chi Minh sandal, which is a piece of car tire with a strap on it. I mean, they called them. I've always called them. Been told they were called Ho Chi Minh sandals because that's the same thing they had in Vietnam. They take an old car tire and put their foot on it, make a circle around it, cut it out, and that's their shoe. But a lot of that.
Everything was super basic, everything revolved around the state. You know what I mean?
Well, brother, we wasn't downtown at the tourist center. We were out in the back parts. We were out doing target analysis. But anyway, they do their old tractors and stuff are. Yeah, I almost stepped on it, but anyway, their old tractors and stuff are 40 models and 50 models and old hit and miss tractors, and they're still, which I know they farm with them in the U.S., but they're novelty. You didn't see brand new John Deere tractors with the 8-wheel, you didn't see that. They're still and they explained to us they have never recovered from the war over there. It devastated that whole part of the world.
Yeah, but they chose to be separate as well too. You know what I mean? So.
Japan,
their population's paid.
And Japan and Germany have been disarmed since way after the hostilities ceased. They seized all arms because I know in Japan, they went to Japan and they even took all the samurai swords away from everybody. They took everything.
Right.
It's crazy.
I'm looking at
that's my opinion on that.
I'm looking at the map here. I think it was Erfurt, Germany, where we flew into that time. It's in Thuringia. I'm making sure it was a part of East Germany, but I don't see that information right now. I think that's where it was. Erfurt.
Effort, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know the last time we flew into Ramstein, we got off the aircraft and we never even went through anything. We got straight off there and they wouldn't let anybody go into our park because they had found a fire extinguisher bomb in front of something on the compound. And they said, we're going to do this, this, and this. So that was the last time I went through there.
Huh. Right on.
It's pretty cool walking through customs, though. Nobody challenged you, just walk through, you know. Like, I own this place.
Hey, Tony, did you see the side chat? Tony, you with us?
Our internal?
No, well, out in the side chat, Sparks is saying, go check out the Chirp website. I'd forgotten about that. If you go to CHIRP, you can just search the term, all caps, and they have they have all the frequencies and all the regions of the states. I'd forgotten about that. You can check that out, and they'll have all the repeaters in your area and stuff like that.
And it's free. It's all free.
Yeah, it's all free. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good catch, Sparks. Thanks.
And you can program your radio off that chirp. You'll download that program. You can literally clone radios off your radio. So if you get your radio set up and you want to do the other one just like it, plug it in. It'll clone it and make it set it up just like yours. Or that was my experience with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you need the cable though. You got to get the cable.
It's about $5.
Hey, Tony, we're talking about Tony here, Saints.
Well, if he
I
buys out
don't
eBay,
I don't see Luke out there on the invite. Oh, I see it. Look in your G Plus, Luke.
Luke, what are you talking about? He's out there? I didn't see him out in the side chat.
Yeah, he's out there. I thought you said you saw the internal that I sent you.
Yeah, Nuggets out there too. Weren't they in G's chat earlier?
Oh, I'm sure.
Shit, G's probably in bed. It's 3:00 his time. We're about to get the German wave here any minute. This is about last time when we got it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of minutes earlier. I don't know if they spread the word or not, right?
They said it was early in the morning in Germany.
Yeah,
it was like 08. It was about 08.
They're 8 hours ahead of us, I guess.
9 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, they're about 9 hours.
So everybody's getting going right now. So Luke and Angel, you got links out there. Check it out.
Yeah, Quasar, Angel. Where are you seeing them? They're not in my side chat. What are you looking at?
Nug says he got locked out. How the hell you get locked out of a chat, dude? Who the hell would not lock Nugs out of a friggin' chat?
Oh, a G's chat. He said he got locked out of G's chat.
He got locked out.
Yeah, Quasar, you should have a link on G Plus and Angel too, if Angel's out there. I don't know. That's weird. Are we seeing the same side chat?
I think we're seeing different side chat.
I hope so.
What are you looking at, Tony? What chat are you looking at?
I don't know. I took my medication here a second ago. So.
Oh, great.
He's got the split screen going on.
Tony's sending links to like
Literally
Thailand and stuff.
Literally.
Well, this chat's about ready to go off the rails real quick now.
Oh, that's excellent. That's what it needs. Just go ahead and throw another log on the fire, boys.
Oh, man. We were doing pretty good. We were keeping it rolling, but not,
HD, you got more experience dealing with the, for lack of better words, Islam than anybody else. So you're the authority on it here. You've got more face-to-face interaction than the rest of them. I never dealt with them. That was after my time.
All right. Well, other than the Germans we were talking to last night, but yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, I did some in-depth embed stuff with them.
Oh God.
It's interesting.
Well, give us the pillow talk.
Pillow talk. No, there is no pillow talk. You
Well,
know,
give us some clip notes anyway.
well, I think it's all what I would say is
right?
don't take the politically correct washed version. I mean, the Quran says what it says. Especially in places like Afghanistan, they're hardline followers. They're not um, going to back down from the words. You know, in Iraq, they're a little more modernized, I guess you'd say. Um, but Afghanistan, they'll cut you up. You know.
I know they say in Turkey it's legal to stab somebody below the belt, stab them in the butt because it's not considered to be a lethal wound. So everybody goes around revenging, stabbing everybody in the butt cheeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard nothing like that.
Yes.
In Afghanistan, the family feud issue is long standing. That's the tribalism of Afghanistan is very, very deep. Just like, and nothing's changed there in 100 years, 200 years, 300. You read all the stories about the Russians when they were there. Nothing's changed since then. You know.
Sorry, HD. I glanced over and looked at the internal and kind of just blew that.
What?
He's giving the Navy cook a hard time. I know the guys in the guys from Germany were concerned about the gun deal, and that one thing I know for sure. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of intel on it, but I know the Muslims are not one bit afraid of picking up arms, and if they can get their hands on them, they will.
Oh, they probably already have them. That's the scary thing about there. It's like it's only a matter of time before they start breaking that stuff out. There in England, like when's that going down? You know.
And then it will be Sharia law.
Well, I don't know about that, but it'll be you know.
Well, what are they going to do? They'll have to put the military on the streets to deal with it because if they can't get guns, man, those guys, unlike the Americans that can't throw grenades, they can throw rocks. They get a lot of practice at it. I know y'all saw the same videos I did of them pelting the local, well, I guess, I don't know whether it's riot squad or whatever it was in France and various countries over there, dude. They're standing there, jump out, throw a rock, jump back before they get shot with a rubber bullet, but they ain't scared. They like Tech Daddy. They ain't scared.
Yeah, right. They believe in sticks and stones, man. They believe in sticks and stones for sure. Yeah. That's that last Sebastian of freaking defiance when you resort to sticks and stones, you know. Oh heck.
Well, they probably told HD before he went over our different stuff that he told us. 3 things we were absolutely not permitted to talk about were their politics. Politics was one of them. Women.
Really?
Yeah, you couldn't say anything about.
You don't talk about women. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to once you get to know somebody. Like we were paired up with other Army members and stuff. So after a while, you get familiarity. You can, they're like, yes, my wife is doing good. But they, it's more about their dads and their brothers. If they're talking about them, but you don't say anything like, "Hey, your wife looks good." You don't say nothing like that. That might get you stabbed in the butt.
My brother.
Yeah, it was the 3 things were religion, politics, and their women, because they're really strong Catholics over there, and where a couple of places I went, they didn't like Protestants at all.
My brother, he puts on that voice and he goes, and he says it in like such a ridiculing way. He'd be like, dude, they say that women are for procreation and men are for pleasure and shit like that. He'd just go off on it. He used to crack me up when he'd tell me stories about over there.
All right. That's still true. That's the Persian. That's the
Mentality.
old Persian culture. That exists all through, basically from Pakistan to Baghdad. You know, that whole Persian area that they conquered way back when.
I give these women around here a hard time. I say, "Where's your head wrap at? Cover your head, woman." When you get out and about, and they're like, "I'm not even going to repeat in these yet what they said because it's not very ladylike, but it is Southern redneck female language, so I'm not going to repeat it here. I don't want to."
You know, what's funny about that, Saints, is I remember growing up as a kid. Older ladies used to wear head wraps. You know,
Well,
they'd
old
have
women used to wear hats all the time to church too. They
they'd
all
have
had
the
that weird hat.
they'd have the scarf like thing that would pull their hair back, and that kind of went away back in like the 80s. But back where I grew up, older ladies, especially anybody probably older than 40, would wear it either working around the house or just kicking it around day to day. You know,
Right.
it was a normal. It was a head wrap. It's definitely what it was, but it just kind of people stopped wearing them. It was like an old fashioned thing.
Styles have changed for real. I mean, for
I don't
real.
know.
I mean, look at the way people dress these days, man. What?
I don't know if it was
It's-
tied to the conservative religion or what it was tied to, but it was definitely prevalent.
Well, you know, the Mennonite women and the Hatterites and all that, their women cover their hair with bonnets and stuff like that. But
Yeah, these are just
they ain't wearing no beekeeper suits like I seen, buddy. That's not left field there.
Yeah, that's a little different story.
And I ain't never seen none of them wear them weird looking full body head scuba suits to compete in the Olympics either. That was a first for me.
Scuba suits.
Well, that's what it looked like. A full body swimsuits with a hood on them. All they needed was a tank and some fins and a mast. They'd been dropped off back of a boat somewhere.
Oh man. I got a neighbor. He dropped by today. He dropped off a transmission cradle. I loaned him, and he was telling me about this other guy that lives up the street from us. This guy likes to walk around with two pistols stuffed in the front of his belt, and walk around with he's got an AK platform weapon. He was in Walmart the other day, and they called the police, stopped his ass, interviewed him, and everything else. And I'm like, man, this guy, and I know who he is. I'm like, man, how cosmically stupid, right? So my neighbor, Steve, that was over here, he borrowed the transmission cradle. He's telling me this story about him, and I'm like, I get that it's legal to do shit like that, but God, man, when you're walking around like that, that's not about self-defense. It's about a statement. You know what I mean? And then people are going to start looking at you like you're a little loopy and shit. It's pretty funny actually. But when he told me about it, he goes, "Yeah, I told him I didn't want him at my house no more." I'm going, "Oh man," because this guy just opened up his mouth about how he was treated and questioned and everything else in reference to that. I just thought, wow, man. Yeah, I'm like, God, I go, well, that's the guy I got to keep an eye on in my neighborhood, I guess. Never know. That's some immature, stupid shit. Walking into a Walmart freaking with an AK platform or with an AK strapped on your back and two pistols stuffed in your front pants, man. That's just fucking crazy. That's just nuts. He just made it a point to mention it to me. I just thought it was funny. I was staring over at that tranny cradle. I haven't put it away yet, and that's why I thought about it. Man. Freaking knuckleheads ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know how you get off topic, Bikes, but you do a pretty good job of it.
Thanks, man. I just had to talk about what came to mind. You know what I mean? Just saying.
You got some strange characters down there for sure. Like we have guys that wear 6-shooters into the store up here, but I ain't never seen no AK.
Oh man, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Yeah, it's just funny his expression when he was telling me about it. He's just like, he goes, man, this guy's been living around the corner for like the last 10 years. And he goes, I don't even want him over at my house anymore because he stops by because Steve's a gearhead, you know. And this guy likes to work on cars as well and shit, you know. And he goes, yeah, I don't want him in my fucking garage no more, man. So I'm like, yeah, that sucks.
Right.
It's just funny.
Oh, snap.
So you guys are having a chat over here.
This chat's over with, son. We're shutting it down.
And we done beat up everything in the country.
Doggone
What's
it.
up?
I just got the invite from Tony. We just got something in the chat of
Man, I
Tony
sent you
telling
an
Luke
invite like
about
2
it.
hours ago. What are you talking about?
No, on what? Because I just got Tony's
On G
text
Plus.
message.
I sent you on G Plus.
Mother freaker.
That's all right.
Hey, Angel,
Doggone it.
my apologies for cutting you off and cutting everybody off last night with my drunk ass. My apologies, man.
9, 4.
Hey, nah, no problem, brother. That's Mark, man. That's the Mark I love, brother. It's all good.
That's crazy. That was crazy, man. I had to rewatch that shit and go, oh my god. Oh
You know,
man.
my favorite part was when it was translating the American into American.
I know, right? It's like
Yeah.
Bikes, what are you doing? I'm translating, but she's speaking English. I know, but it's the male and female tense.
I caught that, man. I'm like, oh man. Oof.
Yeah, there were a
That was
couple
too much.
moments there. It's like, Bikes, we got it. We can hear them. We understand them.
Oh man.
Dude, you know, we stayed up. Nugs, myself, stayed up with that guy Skanko.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think I hung up with I think we hung up around shit.
4:30.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 5 or some shit like that. Yeah, it was late, man. We were on for a while talking to him.
Oh,
Put in
yeah.
the time.
So yeah.
He was a little bit scared of guns. He kept talking about, is that not the reason that you have all the murder over there? And I know that's been programmed into them, that this is evil, this is bad, you don't do this. If you do, they're going to call you this, they're going to call you that.
Well, we had the same problem on Thursday night. Patch had a chat, and we had some guy that came in from New Zealand. And, you know, he was talking on the outside, typing up mad stuff, you know, talking crap about, you know, the United States with our guns and our crime and all that stuff. And, you know, Patch immediately, you know, got defensive with him. And it's like I told the guy, I'm like, hey, if you're not a troll, then you're going to hear me out, whatever. And, you know, we started explaining stats to him, and I was bringing him stats and stuff like that about, you know, the culture, the difference in culture. And, you know, another thing we harped on was, you know, look at your population versus ours, you know, well over 322 million freaking people. Now, when you look at the number of deaths, it's nothing. You know, it's not even a speckle in the bucket of water or whatever. So, you know, after that, he chilled out, right? He chilled out after he started listening to the stats and all that stuff. And, you know, I told him, I'm like, literally, dude, you're being brainwashed by propaganda. Don't buy it. You could tell it reached him. It did. So that's how a lot of these people are, because of the bullshit propaganda.
Well, it's like I said earlier, you know, the people that are watching all the chats, they don't like the Patriots having chats, but they really don't like the Patriots having intercontinental chats with other Patriots. That's they really frown on that.
Well,
Yeah, because
if you heard that guy last night, Saints, I know you were with us late also. The more he spoke, were you there when, and I was making fun of Nugs this evening about that. Were you there when Nugs started kind of getting a little hot tempered with him?
Well, he's trying to blame the U.S. for the world's problems, but
Yes.
he did come back and say, not the people, the government.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that Nugs kept telling him. It's not the people. It's not the people. And he was like, well, you know, and that's when
he was saying that that the U.S. control their military, NATO. He said, you tell us what to do. You take our soldiers. They go here. They go there. We don't do this. We don't do that. And I'm like, wow, okay.
You do all the wars around the world, you
Yeah.
know, and I told him flat out, I said, you know what, you are correct. Yes, you are correct. You know, we are the majority of NATO, and yes, we control NATO, and yes, we invade all these countries, and you are correct, but that does not represent everyone here. And that's why I told him that, you know, it's the regime.
Yeah, that's sad that he thinks that way. You know, I mean, that's not really being open-minded. That's pretty closed-minded. You know, on the scale of things that happen. You know, I mean, that's sad.
Dude, they've been just like Holder told, you know, we have to brainwash them every day that guns are, that's that crap come out of Eric Holder's mouth. Thing about it, they've heard it over there ever since they were from cradle to grave. They hear it.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a country near you.
But to your point, you know, Saints, that's true. I mean, for us to go outside the U.S. to talk to people, you know what I mean, in other countries and whatnot, that's foreboded. You know what I mean? They don't want the exchange of these ideas. You know, that communication. Mm-hmm. It doesn't fit narrative.
I don't know. Like I said, I told Nugs today. I thought Nugs was going to freaking open up a can of verbal whoop ass on him. You know,
he was getting a little heated. He was getting a little heated. The temperature was getting a little.
Yeah. Come into our chat and talk about the red, white, and blue, and not expect to get a little verbal ass whooping. There's something wrong with you, son.
Tony freaked him out because he stuck that big ass muzzle, that 45, up in the screen there, and everybody was looking at it. And buddy, it lit them up. It was like they turned the nitrous on. They liked that. You can buy a pistol at a grocery store.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's too bad that he believes that. Ain't exactly grocery stores, but.
Well, Tony flew off the handle on us the other day because we were retracting our comments, and the only reason I did it is because J. Watt did it, and then I did it, and then here's Angel, he did it, and Tony's like, what the hell's going on? Saints text me, they're retracting all y'all's messages, and I'm like, dude, I'm aggravating J. Watt, and here's Angel, he's going to jump on the train while it's coming by.
That's exactly what happened. I thought
that was funny too. I thought Tony was going to blow a vein out of his head or some shit. He's like, why the fuck do you keep retracting your messages, man?
He was standing up in the seat driving.
That was funny.
Tony yesterday was lit up yesterday, man. At the beginning of that chat, Tony was lit up. That's the old Tony I remember right there.
I was fucking pissed.
I know the feeling, brother.
And then we threw some fire on the flame because he thought they was going in there and hacking the side chat.
Oh, Lord.
That's the only reason I do that, to aggravate J. Watt, because he won't come in the chats anymore. He told Sardi I was DIA. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know what DIA he's talking about. Dead in Alabama? I don't know.
Defense Intelligence Agency. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
I don't know. Y'all closer to J. Watt than I am. Y'all get on that radio and call him, Tony.
I think it's time for me to start looking into some ballistic plates. Seeing the way things are going.
Buy you some Hescos.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if it was Hasco, but I came across another brand, and they have the level 4 ceramic multi-hit, but they also have the level 3 plus steel, which is actually only a few ounces more than the ceramic, which is obviously very multi-hit, you know, because of the fact that they're steel plates. And I'm like, man, I don't know. You know, level 3 plus. My biggest concern is, you know, M1.
Those level 4s that I have are multiple hit, bro. They're fucking like multiple on top of multiple hits. That's
multiple hit on those on their rating. I looked it up. It's I think 3 rounds. You know, spaced accordingly. It's 3 rounds. I mean, it's never going to compare to steel. I mean, sometimes
Get shot 3 times.
That's for you, Angel. $200.
Make sure that you get standalone plates too. Don't get the plates that have to have the backers, the soft armor backers. Make sure you get the standalone plates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I was looking at. I just, like I said, the level 4, they have these, and I mean, you're paying for it. And when they say multi-hit, I mean, they show the video. It's a lot of hits. Of course, the ceramic degrades, but it's encapsulated, so it helps. But then it's like, damn, a lot cheaper and only a few more ounces, not even half a pound more for level 3 steel. They just, you know, I don't know, man. It's a close call.
Angel,
Sir.
Nugs is out. He says, get with him. He's got a set for you, $200.
They got a good deal on those RMA plates. They had the ones that had St. Michael on them. They were like $129 a piece. And they were level 4 standalone plates. They decent plates.
Here's another question for you guys real quick on those. The standard size is 10 by 12, right? Now, I see all the time, you know, when grown men wear them, because I'm a little guy, grown men wear them, right? That shit barely protects because it's only supposed to be your vitals. Again, I'm 5'6", 148 pounds, small frame. I think I could get away.
But you look big on YouTube, bro. I thought you were like 6 foot.
I thought he was like 6 foot.
That's what I
No,
thought.
I'm only 5'6", but I'm small boned. I have a very small frame. My weight is supposed to be maximum 130 for my frame, my skeleton. But I'm a 148, 150, but that's from working out and years of working out.
Bro, so, this motherfucker is smaller than me.
Yeah, I'm only 5', dude.
Back of the bus, Angel. Back of the bus.
5'6", brother. I told you, I'm 100% Rican. We're small people, man. How the hell you think we get along in those jungles over there?
I'm 5'8" on a good day, so 5'8", 5'9", something like that on a good day.
That's the white in you, brother. See, that's the white in you. I'm 5'6", but what I was saying is I'm thinking I don't even need a 10 by 12. I'm thinking what's the next size? 8 by 10?
8 by 10 minimalist. Yeah, I know a lot of people like those minimalist plates.
I mean, I don't need a 10 by 12, right? If I got such a small damn frame, what the hell am I going to have the weight of a 10 by 12 if an 8 by 10 will do the same thing? Will be the right fit, right? Or am I looking at it wrong?
No, 8 by 10's still. I mean, you're only losing an inch per side, dude. You know, so an inch on either side probably be just fine.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna depend on what type carrier you're using as well, and then they always say you're gonna measure at your belly button down, you know, or up. So.
Well, it's supposed to be 1 inch below your sternal notch is where I think 1 inch below the sternal notch where you're supposed to wear it. Is that right? Or some people say level with the sternal notch, but man, that's right up under your chin if you got a big old head like mine. I know I got a pair of 11 by 14 extra large plates, and those weigh 15 pounds a piece. And the only thing I know to do with them is hang them over the car door when I'm bugging out.
Right? Oh man, that's 30 pounds, man.
Tell me about it. Try to run with those on. Try to make a rapid movement from point A to point B.
And then if you're wearing other gear on top of that, oh heck, man.
That's just a plate. That's no carrier. They're 15 pounds for 11 by 14 level 3. That's why I said the only thing I know to do is hanging over the car door when I'm getting the heck out.
I don't know. Like I said, I was, you know, when I got into the whole firearms thing and all that stuff, you know, all my mentors always said, don't waste your time with body armor. Take that weight and add it into ammo. So that's why I'm asking, because I've never really even contemplated body armor.
What do y'all think?
Well, Angel, why are you contemplating it now? What's the situation?
Peer pressure.
Give us the sit rep, man. Hit it.
Honestly, peer pressure. I don't know. Everybody keeps telling me, you know, dude, you got to get that armor, man. It's going to increase your survivability. I mean,
Well, if you're
I don't know.
stationary and not having to do a snatch and grab or something like that, that sure would be handy. Or if you're in a vehicle where the weight's not going to matter.
That's what I'm thinking, more of a vehicle, especially because remember, I live in the city. So, you know, if I got to drive somewhere to where I would go, then through the city, that's where I'm thinking.
Well, I upgraded. I got me some kind of similar to what Tony got, but I've still got my others, and everybody that's upgraded has not sold their plate. They just decided that when the kids go in the back seat of the car to get out of there, they'll set it around the kid in the back seat. So
I don't know. I'm still, like I said, especially, you know, not having to cash for it or anything. I'm just like, damn, dude, I'd rather just lean towards the old thing of, you know what, just don't make yourself a target. You know, move.
Good policy, but you don't always know when you're a target either.
Exactly.
right.
To me, you could build. To me, you could build a slick at the least. You know, the slicks are cool. You know, that's just a front plate and a back plate in it, and they got buckles on both the shoulders and the waist.
True.
That company, US Palm, I think they went out of business. They were making some dope ass fucking slicks. I wonder what happened to all those. I'm sure they're on the market somewhere. But those are badass, dude.
Where was that at, Tony?
US Palm.
Oh shit, he dropped out.
And Tony has good information. I'm Angel.
Yeah, I remember US Palm. I can't believe they went out of business.
I know Paraclete makes good stuff too. My carrier I got's a pre-MSA Paraclete. Man, they did a gem up job on it. Now I've got a regular AR-500 carrier too. It's one of the first ones I got with the big plates in. I like the carrier. It's just all too big. I mean, man, that thing it's gonna be super hot. I like that skeletonized, you know.
Higher speed,
Yeah.
low drag.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, consider.
Well, hell, that's the thing. Like, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying in an OIF-1, I had a full flak jacket with plates. That was pretty miserable. I
Here in
have
the
a plate
swamps.
carrier with plates. My deployment, I would highly recommend a plate carrier.
Do you use side plates, HD?
Heck to the no. That would only be vehicle borne when you're expecting high fragmentation.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed in your last video, I was also checking your rig out, and I was like, damn, HD's got them plates on.
Not on the side.
Check that link right there. Something like that is fucking awesome, dude. You cannot, to me, I got kind of like a slick, but mine's a plate carrier. But this little minimalist deal is sweet.
I know because when I was trained, basically all I wore was Alice gear. You know, out here in the swamps. So.
You mean web gear?
Alice
yeah, you know, the old Vietnam Alice gear.
Yeah.
You got a screen open, bikes.
I've got a what?
You got the YouTube video on. Maybe close it now.
What's the matter with Tony? Did Tony take his muscle relaxers?
couple times.
He had feedback. I was just saying.
No, I don't have it. I've got the YouTube muted.
That's coming in on your radio.
But that's my mentality, guys. I mean, that's why I'm asking you guys, because I know you guys got a lot more experience and stuff. But like I said, when I was taught, and you know, we went out there, and you know, they took me out there to teach me stuff. It was Alice gear and all that stuff. And like my favorite setup is just, I love chest rigs. They're comfortable, they're light, and down here in the heat, they're freaking awesome. And that's why I've never even bothered looking at plate carriers.
The one
Yeah,
I got,
Any opinions? Give me opinions and input, guys.
the one I got, dude, I can run around with it all day on. I take it out like if tomorrow we go out for the whole time, and I'll run it the whole time. I'll walk out all the targets and walk everything back, and I'll just wear it the whole time I'm out. To me, it's not that much. I got the little three taco pack on the front, you know what I mean, and then the 2 plates. It's very minimal, so it weighs in at 16 before the 3 mags. So with the 3 mags, I don't know, what does the mag weigh? Half a pound or something?
3 mags. That's all you carry?
No, I'm not gonna say what I got. I got more shit. I'm talking about on that at the bare at the bare bones minimum. The way I got it set up is running like the 3 taco pack on the front. So I'm not super, bunch of shit sticking out on the front, and then just the 2 plates, a tourniquet, and then the rifle.
He's got a setup where he can ditch some of it, Angel, and still have a fighting load on him, but not a complete loadout.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm not familiar with because I see like a lot of carriers, people only mount like 3 magazines, and at the most 2 on their hip, and I'm like, damn, my basic loadout starts out with 6 magazines, right, on my chest gear, or unless I throw on my 8 magazine chest rig. And then after that, it's the bandoliers, the 4 mag, old bandoliers.
Channel mode 1.
Tony has daggum radio.
I got the old school bandoliers. I got like a sweet ass H harness. I got a bunch of shit.
I don't run the hard side plates like a lot of people do that actually mount on a belt that mount on the side. You carry the 8x8s or whatever they are. But my carrier's got pockets in the side of it that I put level 3A soft armor inserts in it. And then they've got I don't know what it is, maybe an 1/8 of an inch thick sheet metal trauma plate that hopefully will pull the jacket off like of a pistol bullet. It's just, all it's made to do, it just slows it down before it hits the Kevlar, or it'll pull the jacket off of a soft bullet before it gets into the Kevlar with a mushroom. But those side plates, dude, you try to carry a load out and put all that on, it'll kill a young man.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yes, sir. It'll beat you down and humble you out.
Yeah, so I figure if you could keep that your main chest rig just as as light as possible, and add everything else on it as layers. I don't know nothing. It's just what I've done. You know what I mean? How I run.
And whatever.
With that 3 taco pack on the front and the 2 plates, I can run around with that plate carrier on all fucking day.
Like another thing I make sure is
back in the day, Tony.
I don't want to have a lot of shit on my chest, because I want to make sure, like I've tested my rig now, to make sure I can lie. When I'm prone, I want to make sure I'm as flat as possible.
Yeah, you don't want to be too cumbersome. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to freaking lie down on my chest and realize my head is like 1.5 feet off the ground because I got all this shit on my chest, Yep,
exactly. Carry all that shit in a rucksack or have it in layers. Like I said, they have those H harnesses to where they'll go right over your plate carrier, or some of them even hook to your plate carrier, so you just add it on, and if not, you're throwing it over one of your shoulders like you would a bandolier, and you're still got your little minimal plate carrier / slick or whatever. I don't know.
No, that's, what, Tony? That's exactly what I would do. If I got one, I wouldn't attach anything to the actual carrier, because I still want to keep my chest harnesses, because like you said, it's in layers. You can always just take shit off. if something happens and you got to book and you got to lose weight, on the spot, it's easier to peel shit off. So rather than having everything stuck together.
I was broke for like 3 or 4 months off of getting my shit because that's like, I mean, to me, I was fucking dedicated for real. I didn't even have the money and I spent it. So I got the shit. I saw Nugs had his shit, and a couple of my other buddies were getting theirs. But and we went and did that shooting shit, that little training course. All those guys had plate carriers, and I was like, man, gotta get my shit. So I sacrificed for like 3-4 months. Just got it.
Another month of ramen noodles. But hey, I really like my gear.
Yeah, just whatever you get, whatever you set up, do about 10 burpees and see where you're at.
Yeah.
The thing is you could pick up the plate carrier off of like Backpage or something in your local area. If you can find your size, you can get a cheap Condor for like $50-$60 for the rig, and then the plates are $100, $110 all day. So you could literally be in a good decent plate carrier for like $300 the whole get up.
Shit, yours went up, Tone. Your plates went up, brother. I looked at them the other day, and it's funny because when I went to that site, they're like, oh yeah, it's starting at 125 or 120. And then when you go in there and you're like, okay, you select the ceramic, whatever. I think they were like $180 a piece now.
Well, I got mine on Veterans Day. I keep telling everybody that. I bought mine on Veterans Day. They were $100 a piece.
Was that with a discount, or you were selling them for?
They were discounted on Veterans Day like 2 years ago. $100 a pop. I was like, I think with taxes and stuff, they came out to like $112 a piece or something like that. So I think I paid $224 total for both of them. I paid more for the plate carrier than I paid for both plates. Put it that way.
And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but the first time somebody does a shooting and has body armor on, they'll go after it too.
They just had that veterans home yesterday in California.
All right,
First thing I heard.
First
thing I heard is guy had body armor. I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh, yes, sir, buddy. Damn, man. See, I'm a fortune teller. How about that?
Shooter in Florida, kid in Florida had body armor. They said he ditched it. Said he had full body armor when he was in there shooting at the kids.
I'm gonna have to see that on video. I know the kid had a lot of money, but
there ain't no video of nothing, dude. There ain't never seen no video.
That guy'd have a hard time lifting the rifle, a little less to, another 50 pounds of gear.
Yeah, but if they got a guy that comes in full body armor, he could have been anybody.
Right.
Anybody who the law enforcement
says it was. A whole different issue.
I mean, when you bring human practical application into that, right? Human practical app. I mean, a lot of us, we all freaking know, right? I mean, you wear your ass out. If you're not used to wearing that type of gear, and then you're going to actually negotiate some things, I mean, it just...
Soup sandwich.
Adam Lanza was 113 pounds, man. 113 pounds. He was wearing 80 pounds of gear.
It's like a 67-year-old shooting out thousands of rounds in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Scoring 400 hits. Yeah, right.
Not happening.
I mean, that's the thing to keep in mind with these narratives is the human practical application, right? I mean, that's just, just go there. You know what I mean? Just go there in your mind. Yeah.
Oh,
that brings reality.
I got to tell you guys, Mark and HD, I think Tony was on it. I don't think Tony heard it either. I was telling the guys earlier in the chat, on G's chat, that all day on the news today, they've been showing some Florida politician talking on the news saying, well, I'm glad that this legislation was signed in last week because, it's been around 20 years or so since we had the last major, gun legislation being passed. So, it was due. It's that time, that we needed. It's been 20 years or so. So it's that time to pass legislation again. Right. And if anybody looks and sees that federal gun legislation is usually about between 20 to 25 years between the passings of the major ones that we've had federally, which if you think about it, that's a generation, right? 20,
Right.
25 years, that's a generation. Well, this guy here, you know, in Florida today, all over the news, admitted it and basically said, you know, it's been around 20 years or so. So it was time to pass some new legislation. So in the open, flat out.
Murder is already illegal. Killing, you know, somebody regardless of what they're using, it's already illegal. You know, it's bizarre where that mentality is. I don't buy into that either. That's why I don't even want to talk about stupid shit like that. It's just you know, it's just not. That's not reasonable thinking in my view. That's just, you know, silliness, silly gooses. You know.
Yep. Well, it's just that's in our face, man. They're mocking us.
Yeah.
You know, you had what's his name? The stupid president here, Scott, was after he signed a bill again all day today on the news. You know, to the students, you made your voice heard, and you know this is what you get. You know, action or some shit like, you know, basically you spoke up, and there you go. You got what you wanted. Yep, exactly. Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah, it has all the attributes of rewarding a spoiled child. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's
sir.
stupid.
And what are they going? That's exactly right. And what are they going to cry and whine about? Mommy, I want this. Mommy, I want that next week.
No, they will go. No, it's like, Daddy, you will get me this pony. You will, Daddy, you'll get me this pony mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
Willy
what that
Wonka. But I want a purple. But I want a goose that lays a golden egg.
But it's true, man. I mean, it's in your face, mocking you. You know, I mean, it's just you just want to. You know what I mean? You just want to.
My new phone just quit. Can I go? Give me 600. I need to go buy one.
Yep.
You want to know where I'm at all the time. You want to be able to call me. Kick up the cash.
Yeah. Oh man.
We got to make our voices heard.
What do you suggest? Well,
I will tell you the same thing. I will tell you the same thing I told Type Daddy last night. I have been taught by you guys to keep that shit quiet online. I will not answer that question.
Maybe we should all invest together in our own radio station, right? So we can broadcast worldwide. See how far it goes.
I mean, come on. The Germans were saying last night what I always tell everybody, right? It's coming. And if something's not done, we're going to be just like them, right? They said it. I've been freaking warning everybody. So
I've been told this all my life from, you know, of course, my family, you know, relatives and stuff that are over there, you know, that shit. I mean, I've got cousins that are, of course, my age. I've got two that are actually a few years older than me, but over the years, they've always been saying, man, you know, and I always tell them, you know what, move here, become a freaking U.S. citizen. You know what I mean? If you believe in everything we do, and you believe in our Constitution and everything, come here. You know, don't whine about it if you're going to stay there. You know, so I don't know, man. But yeah, all my life, man, they've always been saying, oh yeah, you wait, they're going to try these, you know, on America, these things on America, things like that, and here we are. It's like a crystal ball, you know.
Beta test. Got to beta test it.
Yeah. Beta testing is alive and well. Absolutely. Yeah. Several states beta test certain things, and then it becomes the norm, you know. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, all these people should have went ahead and bought them some AKs. Then everybody could be hating on the AKs and leave our little bit of American tradition alone.
Yeah.
Well, hell, you guys are old enough, man. Don't you remember, what was it, during the 80s and especially the 90s when all the hate was against the AKs because that's what the bangers used to use in drive-bys?
Hey, like Ice Cube said, don't have to use my AK.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it used to be the AK and now it's the freaking AR because I guess more people can afford the ARs now.
I believe that was Easy E there, HD.
Is he the one that actually said it, not Ice
I
Cube?
think it was. Yeah.
Aren't they all the one and the same? Not to sound, but
Shame on you.
I mean, hell, they all came from the same group, right? What was it, NWA?
Yeah. I mean, just think
Oh,
about
by
the
the
fires.
way, we have Alan B. Pro on the outside. Guten Abend, Herren. Not Hute Abend Dabei.
He said, "Good evening, gentlemen or men." And where's he at here? I don't see it. I don't see what you're seeing. Maybe my shit's slow.
I'll translate it. Said, the gentleman kneeled down with a camouflage on is extremely sexy.
Guten Abend, Herren. Noch heute Abend dabei. Okay, what about today, this evening?
Speak to her, Mark.
Oh, how's your evening going? Okay.
There's Angel's
My
clock.
My little Ben.
Yeah. Where's the train? Train's next.
Yeah, where's the train at? That's what I was going to ask.
It's a weekend, so they slow them down on the weekends, brother. They don't want to hurt the local economy.
That's good.
TYG, another one, joined us. You got 24 watching.
Right.
Oh,
Good evening, Domino and Hen. Are you still with us? Yeah, we're still with you. Are you still with us? Still going strong. Yep. Tony,
Hey,
are you still going strong? Get asked.
How do you tell them, Mark, in German, that I went to visit one of their chats and they ignored me?
You went to visit one of their chats and they ignored you?
Yeah, man. It was Skanky's chat, man. I went to Skanky's chat and went in there and dropped a hello in the comments and sat there for 20 minutes translating the external to see if somebody would say hi back. They didn't even bother. I was like, fuck it, left. So didn't get the warm welcome that we gave them.
No, maybe they just weren't paying attention.
Part of being an American.
Yeah, well, I always said everybody dislikes us around the world, so there you go.
Yeah,
but at least you stopped by and sent us some love. That was cool, right?
It's probably because you're a Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Don't stand in line here for a hurt feelings kit because you'll be standing a while.
That's what I was going to say. Hey, Angel, that's what I was going to say, bro, but I was muted.
I'm not Puerto Rican. I am Mexican. So get it right.
If we throw a turban on you, man, it's over, bro. Fuck, man. It's over, dude.
Now, I shaved, so that wouldn't work now. But yeah, with the beard, you throw a turban on me? Holy shit. Yeah. Allahu Akbar.
Durka.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. TYG. Like I said, not every German are friendly.
That's true.
They don't read English, just able to talk. Right on.
No, nobody's been speaking German yet tonight. Alan B. Pro. They don't need English, just enabled it. Yeah. Like I said, yep. Ja, natürlich. Like I said, my shit was fucked up last night.
Nah, man, you were on point. What are you talking about? You weren't messed up.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, man. When you just are used to thinking in English, right? And then you're still thinking in English, but you're trying to spit out the words and convert that shit to German up there. That's like, holy smoke.
Bro, you made it across the quarter deck. Yeah, it was like 30 minutes left to go. So you made it across. You were on a stretcher, but you made it across.
Hey, but you know what? You sobered up.
He's able to present his ID. He was able to present his ID and ask for permission to come aboard, and then he was done.
That's solid. That's Marine action right there.
Yeah. Well, you mean I can't come on board? Who's gonna cook?
Oh.
Hey, Mark,
Saints.
you sobered up. Mark,
Hey,
you
I'm
sobered
the
up quick,
combat-
though.
I'm the combat cook. You eat our mess, you die like the rest.
Yeah. The only thing I'm used to cooking is tanks and blowing shit up. That's all I got used to cooking. Targets, fortified targets.
Like I said, you may have been lit up last night, but brother, you sobered up quick after all that
When?
translating.
I don't think so. I had to rewatch this shit because I was like, oh, fuck, what did I say, man? Oh,
Nah,
God.
you straightened out pretty quick, man. You were doing a great job, brother. You were right on point. Except with Ia, or what was her name? Leah, Naya, Ina, that one, yeah.
Ina, yeah.
Yeah, you fucked that one up, brother. I can't forgive you for that one.
Yeah,
No,
I'm positive.
not butchered it. You just wouldn't let her talk, man. We wanted to hear a female voice, but I'm translating. But she's speaking fucking English. I know, but I'm translating.
Oh, man. Yeah, my bad. Whoops. Sue me.
You're good, bro. Hey, it was my chat. Hey, I'm okay. Everything's okay.
Hey, I was impressed, dude. I was impressed. All I'd say, I was impressed when Mark stood up there. I thought, oh my God, this dude speaks, try to act like he speaks German, and sure enough, dude, he tore right in with both hands. Hell, let the man work, do work.
Surprise! Yeah. Look, it was a shock to me because we were just talking about it, and then all of a sudden they show up. That was weird, man. That was weird.
And then I was like, do you guys think I should send this guy a link? He wants a link. We were about to shut down, so I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, you thought they were going to come in here and burn it down and kick everybody out, right?
Trolls unite.
Hey, I was hoping to get some more females in here because shit, man, they want to leave their country due to their situation and taste a little freedom. Come on down. States. Why not?
It's only fair.
That's right.
About tasting freedom, is it, Angel?
spreading that freedom, brother. I share with any female around the world.
Oh Lord.
And we as Americans have more in common with Germans, you know what I mean? Real actual Germans than we do this bullshit they're importing into all our countries. It's night and day. Man. I mean, we may not speak the same language, stores might be different, and culture's a little bit different, but we all got the same fucking sense to not go around raping women and doing all this other fucking, straight savage, coward bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, shit, dude, they're European. I hope so. I mean, those, hello, those are parents.
But there's relation, like, for if they could find some people to speak English and we could find somebody to speak German. I mean, that's pretty much the only barrier between, us as two different peoples would just be a language barrier. I mean, yeah, we got guns and they don't, but we can. It's more relatable than, say, this bullshit there. Like, there's no way we could come to terms with the Muslim refugees, but I mean, the refugees are cog in the bullshit anyways. It's not even, the refugees ain't smart enough to figure out this whole thing. It's planned.
I would love to get in here maybe some people maybe from Syria, right, that speak English, just to see what it's like over there, what their opinion is of the States and Americans and stuff. I think that would be awesome. Maybe get, some people from the Middle East and some shit like that,
I don't know how good the Muslims would go along with our cultural differences in here. They're really not much on being drunks. And the Germans like beer, though, and we like beer, so we can have a beer.
Oh.
But, yeah, they might turn their nose up at the cold beverages and the Mark doing the 5 shots and Yeah.
Allen B Pro.
Did you guys get? Did you guys
Steam.
get?
They're bringing Abba Alice Galt. Yeah, I know they bring a lot of money over here when they come to visit.
Did you guys get the Trump pardon that Navy sailor in prison for taking photos on the nuke?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Chris Saucier? Was that his name? Or no? I'm not sure.
Is anybody keeping up with the QAnon post that Q's posted?
No.
I thought that was over with.
They said today, today it said, no worries, guns are safe. So,
yeah, I believe that.
That kind of throws me a curve to think of whether they're actually a troll doing it now or don't know.
Right.
Yeah, copy that
fellas,
out there.
It's about that time, fellas. You ready to wrap it up?
Last call for alcohol. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
And Mule shows up for last call on cue.
Man, that was like clockwork. He made it.
That was, wasn't it? Yeah, he's like, bar's closing, let's go. Mule's driving.
Well, now it's fun time. Now we get to talk all the shit.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up. So let's get some shout outs or whatever. Thanks everybody for coming out in the side chat. Angel, you want to start us off?
Thank you for letting me know at the end of the chat that you were having a chat. All right.
Man, I sent you a link like 2 hours ago.
Hey, I was listening the whole ride back, and I think you were taller too there, Angel. Okay,
dude, 5'. Okay, how many times? No, how many times have I told people? Right, I'm 100% Puerto Rican. I am from the island. I am a coconut tree climber. 5'6" is average for us. My brother, who's the milkman's baby, he's 6'2", but he's an anomaly. Okay, I'm 5'6". That's it, brother.
Well, that's because I met with the milkman's wife, because I'm 6'3", so I don't want to talk about my trip to Puerto Rico in the 80s, but
oh God, don't I don't want to hear it.
That's all it's important. Did you have a good time? I mean, that's all that's important.
Oh yes, I went back to New York very empty. Let me put it that way. I needed lots of
Sorry for prompting you.
All right, Bikes, you're next on the list.
Hey, once again, thank you for inviting me. And sorry I didn't take you off the rails too much. I know some of you guys enjoy it, some of you don't. But no, it's always interesting. Always good to talk to all of you out there, especially all the people out there in the side chat out there. I appreciate you. Peace.
Now you have to translate into Deutsch.
Nope.
That's tonight.
Let me go get the bottle out, man. Let me go get the bottle out. We'll start in on it.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you something. I understand kind of the like-mindedness of some of us with all this German heritage flowing around. I couldn't speak up, but my dad and his parents came over just as Hitler was taking over.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, on my mom's side, I'm first gen Irish. On my dad's side, I'm first gen German American. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
All right, you're up, Mule.
Well, I just want to thank for having me, and I hope everybody joins in tomorrow night when I'll actually be in for the whole damn chat, probably. Unless Tony pisses me off, that is. But But thanks for having me, and always great conversations, man. I was listening to you the whole way, the whole way back. So I couldn't participate, but I was sure listening, and you guys had some real good conversations. None of it in German, but whatever.
You got the whole gear loadout figured out?
I have my own setup, right? So I do not wear plates because I am a gorilla. I am going to be part of the population. I don't wear fucking camo. I ain't got battle rattle. No. My shit fits under a big coat in the winter and stays stored somewhere in the summer, so that way I look like Joe Schmo until I need to pop somebody in the melon. You know, because I'll tell you what, who are they going to aim for if shit does go sideways? Everybody that's running around in combat gear, right? Everybody that's got, all this fucking patch shit, every piece of armor, you know, they got every multicam and, you know, spent $25,000 on worth of equipment that they actually never fucking train with, but they're going to get popped. I'm just saying, dude. Okay, a little extravagant, but I'm just saying, right? Me, I buy old Alex gear, right? Unless friends of mine have given me shit, right? Old web gear that works just fine for all the motherfuckers out there in the world beating the shit out of the American army with fucking 50-year-old AKs, you know. Those are the guys that I'm modeling after, not the troopers that are going after them, you know. I'm sorry, I'm part of the rebellion, I'm not a stormtrooper, so I'm not going to fucking dress like one.
Right on. So you're done? That's shout outs? You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Just go to Kansas' chat tomorrow. Maybe I'll be nicer.
Saints, you're up.
I don't know if I'm top of that or not. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate everybody coming out. Blessings, many blessings on everybody. Maybe you'll have blessed days the rest of your life. It ain't over. Don't shoot all your brass up. Don't eat up all your preps. It ain't over. I don't even know if it's got started good yet or not. And I'm only here in the advisory role. I am not a combative.
Always good disclaimer. Tony, you still with us? Closing.
Yeah, I'm here. You know it. I'm here. Shout out to the German army out there. And we'll probably be seeing them. I think they're wondering if we, you know, how often we do this. I say we do it 2 to 3 nights a week between all the channels, probably. We usually do a Friday, sometimes a Sunday.
What the hell, Tony? You think Obama's still in office? We're going to be doing 3-night-a-week Dragons and then a couple of nights of you? Have the whole spectrum covered?
I'm dedicated to trying to get one done a week, and then you figure between HD's channel, G's channel, freaking Mark was doing live streams the other day till he got all scared again.
It had nothing to do with fear. More like
it had a lot to do with the FBI knocking on his door, though.
I was more
frustrated. Shout out to the German army. Shout out to HD for putting the chat on and shooting me an invite. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
All right, right on. Yeah, thanks everybody out in the side chat. I think we hit everybody, mentioned everybody that was out there. A lot of good conversations going on. You guys having your own topics and everything, keeping us on track, if nothing else, or giving us good points. But thanks everybody for coming out. If you didn't catch the wide breadth of the chat, start back at the beginning. We started off on topic and then we diverge later. So if you catch the first 2 hours, you probably get the title of the chat. If you didn't catch that, you just need to go back and watch from the beginning. But thanks for coming out. Like you said, definitely come and check Kansas's chat tomorrow night. The Kansas and Friends final chat. It's on Kansas Hillbilly Preppers channel.
Okay.
Poison Stinger will be sharing it. It'll be posted in the People's Tavern chats. Definitely come and check it out. It's a YouTube community original. It's an old G chat from, Kansas was like ancient founding member of a YouTube type of guy.
2009 was when we started chatting with Kansas. So 9 years ago.
Well, that's what I was wondering, like what channel, because after what happened, I was like, who's having it on, how can it be on his channel?
Well, his daughter still has control of it. His daughter's setting it up, Poison Stinger.
Okay,
and they're setting it all up to bring everybody in, so they're bringing everybody in to do that. So, yeah, definitely look out for that information. and the links for that. And it'll be a good old-fashioned YouTube chat. Probably off topic real quick.
Oh, we used to fly off the rails. We didn't just run or tip over. We flew straight off. And like I said back in my video I did today, you know, listen, that started all this. All of us, all the main people that you've seen talk to, the ones that have been OGing for a long time, that's where we all started. It was over on Kansas. Kansas led to the Dragon. The Dragon led to all these. You know, if it wasn't for Kansas, none of us might have gotten together ever. You know,
Wouldn't know what a hangout was.
Yeah, we wouldn't have. Well, I was already doing chats and stuff like that, but Kansas was a different bird, you know. And you know, I wouldn't have known that how like-minded, scarily, HD and I are, considering our different lives and our, you know what I mean. It scares me sometimes, H. You know, I got to tell you, you'll do a video and I'll be like, son of a bitch, I was thinking about that 10 minutes ago. Or you wreck a video I'm going to do by doing it before me.
Yeah, you always do that to me, still. All right, but thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate it. Definitely be on the lookout for Tony's chats on his 76er channel. His Tactical Tony 702 channel is in the dumps, I guess you would say, in the YouTube spare parts yard, wherever they put old channels go to die. It looks like YouTube's crushing it, but we'll see what happens with that. And yeah, so look out in the People's Tavern chats for links and other stuff going on as well. But we'll see you tomorrow on the Kansas Hillbilly Prepper chat. Live free.
Yep.